everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the Formula Sim Racing World Championship. We're here in Sepang, Malaysia for what promises to be a fantastic race, and with me in the commentary box to call all the action today is Nick Rowland. And Nick, we're in Q1 at the moment. What are your impressions of the current standings?
Much from last time out in Australia. So good afternoon to everyone, and we are anticipating pretty much a similar sort of top 10. It would appear that way currently at the moment as well, with Moran and Bonahuis heading the field in this first part of qualifying.
Yep, so 2 minutes 51 minutes left on the clock before the top 10 doing a one-lap shootout for their bids to start on the front row of the grid. And if last race is anything to go by, it's going to be a cracker. Question on everyone's lips is, of course, Peter Duval won again yesterday in the World Series, making it 2 from 2. But the question is today, can Morgan Moran do exactly the same thing for ATR?
Absolutely, that's a back-to-back for precision there in World Series, and that was a fantastic race for them as well. So I'm sure they're going to eagerly anticipate trying to replicate that in the World Series, World Championship. Yeah,
absolutely. What is interesting as well is that Morgan Moran is actually been quite ill over the past few days. So to see him still going out there and trying his hardest when he said to me that he was just expecting to just score some points is quite interesting. He's still over a tenth quicker than Bonahuis at the moment. His teammate Yannick Lapchin in third, so ATR looking strong as ever. Giorgio Baldi there in P7 for Netrex. Netrex, of course, very strong yesterday in the World Series, so it's still quite a mixed top 10 out there, quite a variation of teams.
Absolutely, and just on Moran's teammate there, Yannick Lapchin, got a fantastic little story. Apparently he's actually in the process of moving and has a whole system set up currently in the hotel room he's actually racing that he's going to be racing from this weekend. So third place and currently on a bit of a makeshift system, but got his wheel and everything, and he's racing from a hotel room this weekend. So you've got to applaud the attitude he's taken to still run to race and his commitment to FSR.
Absolutely, and of course one man just outside the top 10 at the moment, but with time he doesn't have enough time to change it now. But Peter Burlack for Twister Racing, he's been extremely dominant in the World Trophy this season, so it's nice to see him in the World Championship getting a taste of the big time. So we'll follow his progress during the race, but right now 1 minute left on the clock, and it's a last Chandaloon almost for guys like Patrick De Witt, Miko Piemelainen to try and knock Kostadinov outside the top 10 and get themselves into the shootout.
Yeah, and it's very, very close in terms of time as well. It's only Moran that has that just under 2/10 advantage over Bonahuis, and then it's another about 10th and half advantage for Bonahuis then over Yannick Lapchin. But then further behind, it's left from half a tenth back then to David Greco and Jim Parisas as well. And Rasmus Tami is hardly that far off to equal that. So there's a good bunch of drivers with quite equal times.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if there are any late-minute shocks. 20 seconds to go then until you'll get the final lap times come through, and I'm sure it's going to be quite an exciting one. The man on the bubble at the moment, as we said, is G2 Omega driver Dejan Kostadinov. He's just behind Fredrik Nilsson's Twister Racing, so question is, can anyone top it? You've got guys like Patrick De Witt. He's always renowned as a late qualifier, if you remember back to Monaco last season.
Absolutely, I think the one key one is Fredrik Nilsson, the fact that he is only on 9th, so he's got to go watch out. He is on a lap that's 2/10 quicker at the moment. He's just coming round the final corner as he heads off the line. He's 2/10 up on his own time, 2/10 off Morgan Moran, heading to the line, proves to 6th place, just under 4 cents off what Moran has done.
Yep, so good lap there. So let's see if there are any other shocks on the cards. Of course, what is interesting, both AT Racing drivers, Musculi and Fabrizio Gobbi, 16th and 17th. Of course, Stoffel van Dorn not with us today because he's in Hockenheim driving the Formula Renault. So best of luck to him. I heard he's done very well in race 3 and actually won that one. So congratulations there.
Yeah, Patrick De Witt's actually on a lap at the moment that's going slightly quicker than his previous one, so he's up on his own time. He's about a 10th and a half down on Morgan Moran. He's 10th up again on his own time. 4/10 off what Morgan Moran has done. So he's just gone through the middle sector, sweeping around these. Then he got onto 2 very, very long straights, straight than the start straight. As I said, he's a 10th up on his own time though. Short shift to go down the back straight from 6th to 7th there. So hope it hasn't compromised too much with speed. Diving into the final corner now, sweeps round. Gets a good exit, and he will aim for the line now. He's currently in 14th. Will this progress him up the field a little bit more? And it does. Puts him into 9th place. 2/10 advantage over his previous lap. 31.841.
And John Eric Saxon did provisionally get into the top 10, but just knocked out there by Patrick De Witt. And I think that's going to be the last of the runners now.
Yeah, it would appear that way. I can't see anyone else just on the improving lap at the moment. So, the top 10 that will progress are Morgan Moran, Rasmus Tally, Bono Huis, Yannick Lachin, David Greco, Jim Parisis, Frederick Nilsson, Giorgio Baldi, Patrick De Witt, and Reino Room.
I think it has to be hats off there to Rasmus Tally splitting the two giants almost, if you like, from FSR. He's in a GTA Mega, splits them by not very much either. He's a thousandth of a second, no, 5,000ths of a second, I beg your pardon, quicker than Bono Huis.
Absolutely, that's the fact. I actually missed that one just at the end there. So that's a great job there from Rasmus Tally for the GTA Mega Racing World Championship team. So fantastic on a 1:31.480 from Bono's 1:31.485. So very close, 5/1000ths of a second splitting them.
Yeah, we'll see how these times carry over into qualifying too. We've seen in the past that sometimes qualifying one times can be irrelevant, and hopefully we won't see any incidents like we did last week, of course, the first time that this new procedure got introduced. So each driver will leave the pit lane individually, so they have the whole track to themselves, and then have just all eyes on them to try and get their bid for the pole position lap underway. We did see some mistakes last time, and a couple of guys that we expected to be up there didn't quite make the cut, but hopefully we won't see that today, and all eyes currently then will be on the first man to leave the pits, which we're not sure who it is yet. No, it'll be Reino Room then. Yeah, Reino Room leaves the pit lane then, as he waits for those red lights to go green, and then he can begin his bid to start on the front row. So the RS Evo team, they're sole one in the top 10 at the moment. I think they'll be quite happy with that. Reino leaves the pit lane and in towards turn 1. It's going to be quite a pressurising now. I mean, qualifying is quite a pressurising sensation anyway, but when you've got all eyes on you, knowing you're the only car on a flying lap at one point, it's going to be quite tense. All the team bosses, all the drivers, all be watching your lap and your progress.
Yeah, we pointed this out in actually the previous race as well, the fact of how much some people actually faltered on this one lap qualifying, and it created quite an interesting grid. And obviously when we had the start of the previous race well between Bono Huis and Stoffel Van Dorn, it really shook up the grid a bit, and it allowed Morgan Moran to stretch his legs at the start of the race. So just goes to show it can have quite a large effect on people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we don't see that today. Then the Estonian Reino Room is looking quite tidy at the moment on the out lap. Just you don't want to bin it on the out lap. That would be disastrous. Excuse me, I had a tickle, but so yeah, Reino Room is going quite well at the moment on his lap, just keeping it calm, tidy. Make sure the tyres are warm. Don't want to go into a fine lap on cold tyres then as he comes in towards the final part of the track. Most of the hard work is done by this point in the lap. There's one more corner to go, but this corner can sometimes make or break your lap time.
It can indeed, so he will head down now to start his lap. He's going to sweep around the final corner, take a very, very wide entry, which allows him to straighten up the car for the best possible traction off the corners to start his lap. As he now starts and heads down into turn 1. Turn 1 is a very long sweeping hairpin section that leads into a very, very tight dipping downhill turn 2. But you have to get just the right apex, as it can be very, very difficult to get on the power on the exit, and it can compromise your time all the way heading up towards turn 4. So climbing up towards turn 4, a slight elevation change, and you actually brake going uphill as well, which we're turning right, still going uphill as well as you're going through that corner. As you can see there, a lot of oversteer on the exit, so you've just got a little bit too keen on the throttle on exit. Now these long sweeping left and right handers. Car looks very well balanced through there, really turned well in the first part of the corner. Going through to the double right hander now, took a lot of exit curve, and it compromised his entry just slightly, had to use a lot more steering lock than I think we'd have liked to have done. Heading down now to one of the slowest points of track, it's a very, very tight hairpin, just over about 75 kilometers an hour that looked like there, as he climbs up again, going uphill. This is a tricky little corner as well, because it goes down and then back up the other side. Third then fourth gear, cascading that down through. This comes down from a left and a right coming downhill, which is again another elevation change, quite a lot of elevation change here in Malaysia. Right-handed that you can take back to maybe 2 to 3 different lines through, that not ideal, sometimes quicker entry, quick on exit depending on what you want to take. Long back straight now, heavy braking, sweep it into the hairpin, lock up on the inside of the inside tyres, takes a lot of inside curves, straightens the car up, driving for the line now, and he will set a time of 1 minute 32.239.
So here comes Patrick De Witt. He's currently got to P9. Let's see what he can do then during this qualifying session. in the Matt Corpy's looking pretty handy. We know what he's like in qualifying constantly. The underdog here, let's see if he can live up to that expectation today into turn 1. Goes Patrick DeVitt. It's a very quick entry and hopefully he won't hang the car out, and he somehow keeps it in line there. Good job. Clips the apex nicely then in towards turn 3. Bounces off the apex a bit. Quite an aggressive driving style in the opening couple of corners. Hopefully he can just try and keep it calm and not throw the car away. So braking hard, sweeping the car inwards again. He takes a lot of curve patching DeVitt from what I've noticed. Some guys seem to be more conservative in their driving style and prefer a kind of clean line, but DeVitt almost tries to use all of the track and sometimes a little bit more. But we'll see how this sort of driving style affects his lap time as his bid for pole position has officially begun. And in towards the second half of the lap then. Brake late, climbs, it was so easy to get so many, oversteer there, I beg your pardon, and just lose the back end, but DeVitt has not done that at all. Again, braking late down, he seems to be missing a couple of apexes but then swooping in harder, so it's not going to be the most ideal line, but maybe he could beat Rainer Room's time, we don't know. He said most of the hard work has been done by now. One more corner, and it's just Patrick DeVitt surely just brings the car down the home straight. See what sort of lap time it is, flat out down here. Drifted over to the left hand side to just try and sweep it in for that final left hander. Don't take any of the cones as Mr. Room did, and hug the apex nicely, fling out to take a bit more curve there, a bit of a twitch, shouldn't harm him too much, and across the line goes Patrick DeVitt, and he goes first. He's beaten Rainer Room's time by 1/10 of a second.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a little bit of a scruffy lap at the start, but got it together in the middle sector as he was a 10th up, and now we have it's the Netrix driver Volvi actually on track now, so he's going to be setting a time. So he's heading down into turn 1. Let's look at the sweeping right-hander again. This obviously this is a new system in place with this one-lap dash qualifying, which is turned out to be very, very eventful in race 1 in Melbourne, and looks like it's going to be very much so again. DeVitt actually lost a little bit of time in that final sector, but I think it was about a 10th he lost, and at the moment Boldy's actually up. He's 2200ths up on what DeVitt did in sector 1. So he'll now sweep through the left and right handers. That's a beautiful sweeping line here. Didn't get as much on the inside as he would have liked to on the second part, but still was able to carry enough speed. Drops 2 gears as he goes through the double right hander. Very tricky part of the track, that, especially when the tyres start to get worn. Come down to the hairpin, and he clips. He has hugs a very, very tight inside line. Got a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Kicked up a bit of tyre smoke. He'll sweep now into the right hander. Takes a lot of inside curve, but it set him up for the exit. He's lost 2/10. That's where DeVitt was very, very good through there. He carried a lot of speed and he gained those 2/10. Now Boldy's lost those 2/10. Let's see what his aerodynamics so I can see if he actually carries more straight line speed. Coming down the back straight now, we'll drift to the right hand side out towards where those cones are. We'll brake it hard, really sweep it through into the corner. Yeah, he goes for the actually a slightly later apex he decides to go for. The last 2 drivers have gone for a very acute angle into the corner, and he will drive the corner now and does a 33.426, which is good enough for 3rd position currently.
Let's see if Frederick Dustin can beat that then, as he goes a bit wider to just try and get that extra momentum as he flies his twister now down the home straight here into Pang to start his qualifying bid. Let's see what Nilsson can do. Very interesting driving style, Nilsson. He's always constantly there in the field, kind of unspoken hero almost. You see him in the race, he's just constantly there around 5th or 6th place, and he just always seems to deliver the goods. So let's see what he can do in this qualifying session. It's a much cleaner line through turn 1 and 2, a lot less scruffy compared to Patrick DeVitt's early on the throttle, then up to 160 miles an hour as he climbs the hill. Let's see how he approaches this corner. And very nicely so. Seems a very calm, sweeping corner. It's not like he's wrestling the car around at all. It's just going with what Nilsson wants, which is the perfect kind of driver-car relationship. Is if what you can compare that to, and you just see him touching every apex elegantly. See, he's going quite well at the moment. Sector time's looking okay. Is this going to be good enough to get himself in towards the top half of the field? We will find out very shortly indeed. In towards the second half of the track then. Bit of a lift through there. In towards the very final bit. It's a quick left-right hander. We've seen so many mistakes we hear in the past. Hopefully we don't see any during the race today, and even some overtaking manoeuvres. But this will be one of the prime overtaking spots. A great chance to slipstream into the final hairpin, and you've got so much room to do it as well. So this And of course, the first corner will be the best overtaking opportunity during the race, but right now it is going to be the best opportunity for Frederick Nilsson to get his first pole position of the 2012 season. He's looking okay now, bit of opposite lockdown, nothing to scream home about. And Nilsson crosses the line, and he goes for provisional pole. It's 1:31.885, and that's 2.5 tenths quicker than Patrick DeWitt.
Yeah, a very picture perfect lap almost. That wasn't absolutely fully committed on some corners, but it was just so smooth and sweeping that you have to commend his driving style. He's got a very calm Jensen Button-esque driving style there, where he just seems to sweep through a corner. So now we have got Jim Paresis on his lap now, as he's just going through the very tight first part of the lap, heading up towards the sector 1 beam. As he climbs up the hill again, he's just under a tenth off Frederick Nilsson currently. Takes a nice little bit of corner speed and entry speed through the right-hander heading up the hill. He has a much more acute entry angle to the left and right, but it actually worked him on the exit, and it allowed him to get up to 7th gear very fast compared to what Nilsson was able to. So excellent job there for Paresis currently, as he goes through the double right, heading down towards the hairpin. 2nd gear as he climbs up the hill. We'll get the traction down. He does indeed. A lot of good traction from this car. He's sweet right now. In 3rd gear he takes through there. And we're coming up to 2nd. And he's underneath the time, so he's actually underneath Frederick Nilsson's time at the moment. That's a great middle sector then. It really showed actually on board here. So he's now on 2nd gear. Suits around the right-hander. He took a little bit more on the entry and compromised the exit slightly, but it can work in both ways. He will now drive underneath the Thrustmaster signs and head down into the hairpin. Very wide entry he takes, so compared to the bit where it was very quick entry, very wide entry, allows him to straighten the car much faster. Driving for the line now, he does a 1:31.8. He's just beaten Nilsson's time.
Absolutely, so next man to start qualifying lap will be David Greco. Again, got himself quite a nice result last 2 weeks ago here in Melbourne. Let's see what he can do today. As he almost lifts off a bit there, it's not going to cost him too much as he dives in towards turn 1. We've got quite a huge grid today as well, so turn 1 is to not be the calmest corner of them all, with 26 cars darting in there, but right now Greco doing an extremely good job even, I beg your pardon. And he's done it again. I think he made a mistake last time like that in qualifying, and that's not going to help him at all. And I think that could set him back quite a few places in a track where qualifying is everything. And hopefully that won't linger on his mind and he can just brush it aside and carry on with his lap as normal, but he's not going to be a very happy man right now. As he tries to, he's going a bit wide through there to sweep it in, but I think he's actually abandoned this lap. His pit light has come on now, so I think he's just completely abandoned it. I think he's just wanting to get back to pit lane. He's gone very wide again in the double right-hander. So I think this lap has been fully abandoned. He was just very unlucky. He had a very nice line coming through turn 1, and he just seemed to get too much bite in the wheel as he came over the crest of turn 2, and it unsettled the rear of the car, and it put him 1 point off straight away. And he's going to be even further, 1.5, so he'll probably abandon this lap. I don't even know if he'll cross the line. He may just go straight into pit lane. That's very unfortunate there for Greco. Yeah, absolutely. I think he hasn't the best of luck in qualifying, but hopefully he can make up for it in the race. Nonetheless, it's still a top 10 start, and with both Mac Corp drivers out as well, you can't really complain, to be honest. His teammate currently in 3rd position, Patrick DeWitt, but yeah, Greco heads for pit road to abandon that lap, unfortunately. But the next man then to start a qualifying lap, of course, will be the man racing from a hotel room, Yannick Lapchin. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do today. It's really been great to see him mature over the past couple of seasons or so. He's done a great job, and now see him, of course, still sitting the Edson Senna tribute in the ATR team. Let's see what he can do now. Then he was close to his teammate, getting that ATR in a supporting role almost to Morgan Moran in qualifying 1. Is he going to replicate that in qualifying 2? There's only one way to find out, and that's to ride on board with him as he goes through turn 1, sweeps the car left to turn 2. A very gentle approach there by Lapchin, quite calm yet quite speedy as well. You can see him early on the throttle. He's looking quite strong at the moment, no signs of error. Brushes the apex line, so a bit of a twitch there, and you can see just the car wanting to step out. Lapchin does very well to tame it and keep the car going in a straight line, unlike David Greco was able to do just a few seconds ago. Lapchin bounced over that curve. That curve can really be a killer there, that double apex, because if you just take too much of it, you just lose all traction and you can so easily just end up in a tyre wall. But anyway, so Lapchin still looking quite strong at the moment. That ETR is looking once again very clean, very concise, and very quick more than anything. The question is though, is this going to be quick enough to not only beat his teammate but perhaps reigning world champion Bono Huis? Is this going to be the day where Bono Huis gets his first win of the 2012 season? And there's only one way to find out, and that is of course to watch it. But right now Yannick Lapchin could be the man who makes a difference as he comes down the back straight and doesn't take any traffic cones off. Again, a very wide approach. Some drivers take a bit wider approach, have to get as much speed as they can on the exit, and he does so nicely. Where's this going to put him? And he goes P4. So Yannick Lapchin at a 132.73, slower than David, Nilsson and Jim Parisis.
Absolutely, it looks like the ATR car was actually carrying more downforce as well. He was 2 to 3 kilometers an hour slower in a straight line than what Patrick Devitt had done a few laps ago. Now we've got reigning champion Bono Huis. He's just heading into turn 1, bit of a lock up, but he's able to keep the line. Sim again through turn 2, very nice exit. That's the probably the most ideal line seen through the exit of turn 2, where he managed to get out on the curb. And he's going up to the sector 1B now. He is underneath Paris's time by nearly a tenth of a second. Flicks down to second gear. He'll now sweep to the right hand side before going under the SimRace.tv banner, and then into the left in 6th gear. Hold 6th all the way through. Plenty on the exit curve. Absolutely ideal line again. A quick shift up to 7th gear. Triple downshift into 4th, and good line then through the double right as well. Good little bit of that inside curve once again. That may have compromised ever so slightly, but not too much. Into the hairpin. 2nd gear, climbing up the hill. He will flip right, hold the car right. Very difficult on traction it can be, because the car just wants to keep on drifting to the left. Now he flips up the 4th gear, heading towards sector 2. 10th and a bit up. He's still up on Jim Paris's time. This is looking good for Bono Huis. Into the right-hander, down into 2nd gear. He takes it, has a wide entry, gets nicely through the apex and got on the throttle very early there, which is excellent to see there for Bono Huis. And again, underneath that Thrustmaster sign. He will go very wide, another wide entry, so Bono Huis keeps the car very wide, sweeps it in. 2nd gear, 3rd, he will drive now directly from the line. Can this be pole position, provisional pole position? Anyway, it is 131.650, just under 10th and a bit over.
So the bar has been raised then by current champion Bono Huis, but one man who almost stepped up to the bar, if not exceeded it. This man starting his lap now, Rasmus Tali, who pretty much blew all our mind with a late pole position attempt, and he got himself into 2nd during Q1. Let's see what kind of pace the GT Omega has this qualifying session. He's been FSR for quite a long time now. He knows what it takes to be at the very front of the field. Let's see if he can kind of replicate some of his old qualifying performances. He goes a bit wide there through turn 1, but sweeps the car back in, and hopefully that's going to give him a bit of boost there. He rides the apex there, gliding along as he begins to climb the hill. Tali looking quite calm in that GT Omega at the moment. All eyes will be on him. The second to last man to settle up. Of course, the next man after that will be last week's race winner Morgan Moran. So Tali looking, as you say, quite tiny there in the GT Omega. Let's see what sort of time he can do though. Is he got the ability to sort of split the whole Bono Huis Morgan Moran battle? And if he can, I think he'll be the perfect driver to do so. We've seen him in the thick of the action so many times before, and he really could be the man to be the catalyst of change here in Formula Sim Racing, to change the kind of course of the race. Right now, all will be on his mind is completing his qualifying lap. He flicks the car left, careful not to get some oversteer, flicks it right in towards the penultimate corner. Takes it very gently indeed, careful not to get any oversteer, and he does that just fine. Drifting it down the back straight down. Let's see what sort of pace he's got. A matter of seconds away from what could be a provisional pole position. Into the final hairpin he goes, clips the apex very nicely indeed, and onto the home straight. What sort of time is this going to be for Rasmus Tali? Across the line he goes, and it's 4th place. So quite a respectable time there by Rasmus Tali.
Yeah, lost quite heavily in the middle set there, unfortunately. So now we have Morgan Moran. He won the previous race in Melbourne, and he's going to go gun for another pole position. So that started his lap. Obviously, had that advantage of about a tenth and a half over Bono Huis. Sorry, Rasmus Tali in the end in the first part of qualifying. Diving into turn 1, lock up the same as what happens to Bono Huis. So they're fully committed into turn 1. Turn 2, again, very good exit. Little twitch on exit, but he still was able to feed the power on. That shouldn't have compromised him too much as he heads up to sector 1. And it hasn't. He's nearly a tenth up on Bonnequist. 800ths exactly to be precise. He's up on him as he sweeps into the left-hander sit gear. Now this is where Tally actually made that mistake. So yeah, he's very wide on exit, but held it all together. Triple downshift, fourth gear, up to fifth. As we now head down towards the hairpin. Seventh gear, he'll drop all the way down to second gear, does he? Yes, he does. Third, then the late downshift to second gear to stabilise the rear of the car so it doesn't unsettle it coming over the crest. Into the right-hander now, down to third gear, sweeps it right. Will straighten the car up. Yes, he's a tenth and a half up on Bonnequist at the moment as he comes into the final sector. Again, he has the same sort of line as what Bonnequist did. Wide entry into the apex and a very quick exit. As he comes down now this very long back straight. Thrustmaster sliding passes at high speed. Down the gearbox into second gear, does he? Yes, third, and then he's into second, so he stabilises the rear of the car before he changes into that final gear. That looks like it really was a good final corner, and it has been indeed. He takes pole position, 131.512 to Morgan Moran.
And it's 2 out of 2 then for the Frenchman. And once again, Morgan Moran finds himself sitting on the front row of the grid. And once again, it's in front of Bonnequist. So Bono, however, won't have any car in front of him this time. Of course, Stoffel Van Dorn broke it last time, but Bonnequist, can he try and get the jump on him into turn 1? All will be revealed. But hats off to Morgan Moran.
I think there's something notable just to point out here is Jim Paris's lap for Ghost Speed. Fantastic third position there in front of Frederick Nilsson. So, yeah, really great job from Jim Paris's there. Just one thing of note, I don't know what, there has been a driver change from the previous race where we had Marco Conti driving for Twister Racing. I believe it's the World Trophy winner from yesterday, Peter, I think his name's Peter Burlack. I apologise if I got the name wrong. But, yeah, he actually replaces Marco Conti for Twister Racing today.
Yeah, we've seen him, of course, last season providing some epic overtaking action, if you remember, to Montreal in the World Trophy. It was way back months ago, but hopefully he can kind of replicate some of those moves today. Definitely a prospect for the future. Once again, only young. Saw the next generation of sim racers coming through now. Is sort of the old ones kind of getting pushed out now and kind of their noses out of joint. If you look at guys such as Mikko Puumalainen, who is slowly, unfortunately, slipping down the order. But so let's just go through your qualified top 10. Then Moran first, from Bonnequist second, Jim Paris again doing a heroic lap there for Ghost Speed in third, Nilsson in fourth doing a good job, then Rasmus Tali in fifth, De Vick came sixth for Matt Korb, Yannick Lapchin came in an impressive 7th place, Renault Riem was 8th, Giorgio Boldi was 9th for Nat Rex, a great job there by him, and David Greco unfortunately unable to set a lap time due to a mistake early on in his qualifying lap.
A few things of note beyond the top 10. We've got Johnny X Saxon, he's in 11th place for Faster Than Speed. And then we've got Dejan Kostadinov for GT Omega in 12th. A couple of other notes, we've got Peter Burlack on his very first World Championship run. He's actually in 13th place. Then got Giuseppe Ranieri for Silverline in 14th. Second, Silverline Cara Blair Disney's 19th. Bonnequist's teammate, Mikko Puumalainen, he's in 15th place for Precision Motorsport. And then we do have also the two AT racing cars in 17th and 18th place, which is Eros Masculi and Fabrizio Gobbi. So they will be in 17th and 18th place. And then we also then have in the Fast and Speed car, 23rd place is Giuseppe Marcone's teammates, John Eric Saxon in 23rd place.
Yeah, and then just up from then you got Jimmy Dion, Giuseppe Marconi there in 23rd place, George Pantelis in P24, and then Dion 26th. And I mean, the thing is as well, this track also throws up quite some shocks, and with a grid this big, anyone can pretty much make the top 10, given the right opportunity. But what's to note with Twister as well, if you remember back to Melbourne with Edward Malorki, did a fantastic job for Twister. The only reason he's not winning today, if he exceeds the top 10 after racing a certain amount for the World Championship, he wouldn't be allowed to compete in the World Series anymore. And obviously Twister wants him to compete in the World Series, so that's going to be the priority, which is why Peter Burlack is racing today.
Absolutely, so Peter Burlack, I'll tell you what, for making the jump from World Trophy into World Championship and to be 13th position, that's a commendable effort, that, for Peter Burlack. It's a great job from him.
Absolutely, and I think we'll follow his progress definitely during the race. He's quite a feisty racer as well. sort of almost an Edward Malorky type-esque drive. I mean, obviously both guys for Twister as well, but they're both very aggressive. If there's an opening, they will definitely chance for it and try and shove their car down the inside. So let's just look at the times that are coming in at the moment, and currently it's back to Reino Room, who's top at the moment. Martin Gillespie second. The time's coming in thick and fast. Mika Peebeland in third place, Van der Linden fourth, Gobby fifth, and Boniface just goes provisional pole in the warm-up.
Yep, everyone now trying to readapt themselves from qualifying into race trim. Not as difficult as it was last season, obviously, because there is refueling, so it's not as difficult to adapt the cars. So it's Boniface currently with a fastest time of a 33.1.
So, the thing is with warm-up there, it's the last chance for the guys to make any last chance changes to the car, or just maybe simply practice some race starts or pit box entries. All drivers will do a variety of things. I mean, we've seen some mistakes here as well, or people just think if you make a mistake in warm-up, you don't want it to stick in the back of your mind, especially when going into a race start. But talking about the race start, one thing to notice as well is, I mean, the lights seem to take quite a while to come on. The drivers are sat on the grid for quite a while, which means that, of course, by the World Championship, the guys would have learned by now to warm their engines maybe a little bit more, do some over-revving, because you're sat on the grid for a good 20 seconds, which means the engines will cool down.
Yeah, all practice and testing, they'll probably have a sort of a stopwatch to see how long it takes to time them on the grid and what sort of temperature they do actually reach while sitting on the grid as well, so that will just take a bit of adapting. So at the moment, Reino Rooms actually just jumps up on a 33.5, so still looks like his race trim potential is looking pretty strong for the RS Evo team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it'll be a great job for them if they could both end up inside the top 10. Marcel van der Linden, of course, drove for GT Omega last year, as did Reino Room. Martin Gillespie getting up there in the Ash Racing in P4. That's a good pace lap there by him. Yannick Ratchin in P5. Morgan Moran, who I don't think he's sat a lap yet. Let's see. He's currently 22nd and hasn't sat a lap. Obviously, I think they've been impeded by traffic. Perhaps you see him following one of the Silver Line cars.
Yeah, it's Blair Disney's following currently, so he's not at his lap time, so I suspect what will happen when he crosses, he'll either go in front of Boniface or maybe just slot in behind him, because Boniface actually has a 4/10 advantage currently over Reino Room. So, encouraging signs for Precision Motorsports in terms of their race pace, from what we're currently reading in the warm-up, but it looks like, I think what the luxury almost Precision Motorsports have is they are able to adapt their race setup to a race setup more so than a qualifying setup, because Boniface is just so electric sometimes on those one-lap runs if needed.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that you can replicate them during the race. He often, if you remember to last season, had the race in the palm of his hands. If people like Moran started to gain something, he just literally turned the tempo up and gained another couple of tenths of a lap. If he was needed to relax a bit and save some fuel, then he just turn the tempo down a bit and save a few cents. So he really is a sort of master of a whole strategy type project in Formula Sim racing.
Very much so, and Rasmus Halley again's done a great time. He did a 1:33.409, so he's only 2/10 off, and Jim Parisis has just done a 33.4 also.
A very mixed grid again. It's almost like, as we said before, you can just take the top 10, put them into a bag, shake them around and pick up some, just in a random order. Because right now, Rasmus Halley once again being very pacey in warm-up. The race starts at 4 GMT, of course, which is 5 British Standard. So if there was any confusion there, we're sorry to everyone viewing, but 7 minutes to go, and there isn't any confusion over who's currently the fastest man on track. Boniface once again showing the pace 2.69 tenths quicker than Rasmus Harley in second. So Harley and Paresis been really quite exceptional there with their pace at the moment, getting himself into the top 3. You have a little battle raging on here as Martin Gosby tries to overtake one of the RC Evo cars. I believe that's Reno Room. No, it's Marcel van der Linden. So Gosby then round the outside, and yeah, given up there by van der Linden quite easily. So you see Jonathan Deal now in the end of the pit lane. Exactly what we were talking about starting. It's almost race start from the end of the pit lane. So just put the engine in neutral and almost imitate a race start, but from the end of the pit lane, so you can just get used to it and how the car reacts, what way you want to steer it. Of course, you've got to be aware of the cars around you. It's a very strong field, as we've said. I mean, Formula Sim Racing made a great decision to keep the season ongoing. 26 cars, 13 teams, all compete on the same grid, but unfortunately there can only be one winner. And right now it's looking like Bonnet-Cuisse, but with 25 other cars around you, it's so important to get a decent start here.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a little bit of history for you in terms of past winners. It was 2011's race winner was Bonnet-Cuisse Precision, and then before that was actually Rasmus Tally in 2010 for Precision Motorsports at the time. So it just goes to show that Rasmus Tally is a bit of a specialist around this Malaysian circuit. He actually won it, like I said, in 2010. And Yannick Lachin did actually win this 8 years ago in 2004, so it's he has actually won round here as well, so encouraging signs for Yannick Lachin, and his current warm-up time suggests he's going quite well at the moment in 5th position on a 33.434. The lap record in terms of what we've seen around on Formula Sim Racing is a 129.588 in 2005 from Roy Colby. Roy Colby in turn is also the most successful driver around Sepang. He's won 3 times in 2006, 2007 and 2009.
Yeah, of course, Colby, one of the all-time FSR greats, and Bonnet-Cuisse another one. Let's see if he can sort of step it up once again today, make it 2 years in a row that he's won. But to do that, he's going to have to try and get past Morgan Moran, and that's a lot easier said than done. These two often have some galactic battles. I mean, we've so remembered to Spa last year. I think that one battle of the season. And those two rallied for a good 10-15 laps. Two very aggressive drivers as well. They will leave it all on the track if it means a kind of race win. So it'll be interesting to see how these two get on today. And I think they're going to know each other's car very well by the end of this race.
Yep, I think one thing we also need to point out is something we alluded to at the end of the previous race, where the tyre situation was going to be discussed within the team's management before the start of Sepang. But it has changed. So whatever compound we do see, whether it be red, yellow, they are still soft and soft only. So the strategy will play out quite similar to each other on track in terms of where, if it be a 2, 3, 4 stop, whatever teams may decide to do. But they are very, very close in terms of what they are on tyre strategy. So it will be the soft tyre for the entire race, and I think it's meant to be reviewed possibly again after Sepang, but not entirely sure if it will be.
Yep, so we'll keep you updated on that, and hopefully we'll have some information by next race. Morgan Moran back at the top of the time sheet, the first man to break the 132s by doing a 132.935, and that's 2 tenths quicker than Bonnet-Cuisse. Rasmus Sali third, Jim Paresis in 4th place, Yannick Lachin 5th, Pim Ryden up into 6th, Gosby 7th, Reno Room 8th, Peter Burlap 9th, and Patrick Devitt in 10th. So we are going towards... So they were the final times before the race begins then. All 2 weeks work of testing and making sure everything's perfect, getting as much out of the car as you possibly can. All comes down to this. 56 laps of the Sepang International Circuit are going to get underway in a matter of seconds, as Morgan Moran will lead the field around in his inside SimRacing ATR management car, followed by Bono Huis in the Precision Motorsports. And how often are we going to see those two names together throughout the season?
I suspect it could be a season-long battle between Precision and ATR, and then we may have one or two protagonists in the forms of Ghost Speed and Twister starting to knock on the door. Just one thing I would like to quickly say is a bit of a credit here to Mikko Pumalainen. Obviously, he's the race director, but he's also racing in the race. So big effort and well done to Mikko Pumalainen for his efforts currently.
Absolutely, one of the unspoken heroes behind the scenes of Formula Sim Racing, and also big thank you to our cameraman Damian as well for taking his time out to do the cameras for us today. And I'm sure all cameras will be on the field as they just try and fly around 26 cars. You can see them all weave in their tyres. Careful not to make any mistakes, I don't know, we've seen that in the past. People just use sometimes a bit more of the track than expected and can unfortunately just result in some early damage. But right now then, it's going to be quite interesting to see the guys in midfield. You guys like David Greco in 10th, Peter Berlak especially in P13. For the racing team, jumping up, as you said, from the World Trophy to see how he handles this sort of pressure.
Yeah, excellent job in qualifying in 13th place. So it'd be great to see how he's able to perform in these first few laps and throughout this race. As Morgan Moran starts to weave his tyres, get a little bit of heat and temperature into those front brakes, front tyres, and circulate the field behind him. We have Bono Huis in second place from Jim Parisis in third. Frederick Nelson, Twister Racing, he's in fourth place from Rasmus Talley in fifth. De Witt is sixth, Latchin 7th, Renner Room 8th, Baldy 9th, Greco 10th, Saxon 11th, Kostinov is 12th, Berlak, as we said before, is 13th, Ranieri 14th, Pumalainen 15th, Gosby 16th, Masculi 17th, Gobby 18th, Disley 19th, Manasakis is 20th, Varga 21st, Van Linden 22nd, Marconi 3rd. I believe it's Jimmy Dion is 24th before Jonathan Dion is 26th with Chester Pinalos in between the two of them. Sorry, Chester Pantalis. Very hard to say that one. Yes, and then Jonathan Dion running out the field in 26th.
Absolutely, so here we go then. 56 laps of Sepang are about to get underway as the cars line their cars on their grid slots, eyes on the prize it will be for Morgan Moran and Bono Huis, and it really does kind of give you a special feeling seeing a yellow helmet and a Senna-esque livery back at the front of the field. Question is, can Moran produce another Senna-esque performance to make it 2 from 2, or is reigning champion Bono Huis going to have another say in the matter? It's all going to become apparent very shortly as the field all waiting now, those 5 red lights to illuminate. It's all going to come down to this. The heartbeats will be racing faster than ever for some of these guys. 26 cars all awaiting 5 red lights, which could potentially change their sim racing careers. Here we go, then we said it's a long wait, and I think that living up to it, the drivers start to rev their engines. And we're away, and it's Huis, who seems to have got the best start. Morgan Moran immediately tries to shut the door on him as the two head into turn 1. Huis opens up to the outside to try and sweep it around. We saw this yesterday. Around the outside goes Bono Huis. Can he make it stick? Not quite. Oh, and a bit of contact. Moran has the inside line. I think there could have been a bit of a nudge there. Bono Huis temporarily has the position. Morgan Moran going to try and come back for it. He's got the optimum slipstream now. Look at that just behind them. That's Frederick Nilsson up to P3. And he's going to look at the inside. No, Moran slips around the outside to take it back. Great racing there by Moran, who resumes his lead the race.
What a fantastic start that was for Bono Huis. Moran started to go very deep in turn 1, but Huis just kept his foot in, swept round the outside and got position. Moran comes straight back at him and takes it round the outside of turn 4.
Oh, there's a car on there. Sorry to interrupt, had a bit of a moment. Kept it in a straight line, but he lost a few positions because of that.
Yep, Frederick Nelson slots into third place. Great start for him. And it's De Witt's in fourth place. What a start he's had as well. So De Witt's fourth.
Look at Latchin trying to push for P8. He's trying to get the inside line. Couldn't quite get it done there. He's going to try and fly one up the inside now then of the NetRex Grand Prix car of Jojo Baldi. He's got it done. Good move there by Yannick Latchin.
Yeah, and just in front of them, there's a great battle between Talley and Parisis. Talley went down the inside of Parisis, couldn't make it stick. Parisis has held on to that position, but it's allowed for Renia Room and Yannick Latchin as they all very abruptly sweep to the right-hand side to try and break some sort of toe they have, but it's only on Latchin.
Under pressure, sorry to interrupt, Rasmus Talley at the inside. Paris is going to have to try and sweep it round. He won't have the momentum, however, he will have a decent slipstream. Tali immediately goes to the outside line, making this a drag race into turn 1, and look at what's happening just behind him. You've got Reno Room trying to get in the thick of the action here. Goes to the outside, almost 3 wide, as Tali shuts the door and tries to sweep it round the outside. And Paris has the inside line, now pushed to the outside there, and Reno Room trying to take advantage. A crazy opening couple of laps here already, and it's just awesome to watch.
Reno Room trying to take the advantage, couldn't get it done, but it's like Paris to run on Tali up towards turn 4. He's going to brake very, very late, and he got down the inside. Yes, that's enough car length. Oh, Tali's held on round the outside. Fantastic hold round the outside. Reno Room's going to look on the inside of Paris. Can't get done through turns 5 and 6. So Tali holds the advantage.
Peter Burlack in the thick of the action, trying to chase down Nico Tumlo, and also under a bit of pressure though from Dejan Konstantinov just behind. And of course, battles forming away through the field. Look at that. George Pentelis, the Greek, has got himself into P15. A great start by him.
Steady, and Latchin's up the in to try to go on the outside of Reno Room, because Reno Room ran very deep at the hairpin, but Latchin's trying to go around side. It's allowed Baldy through. Usually Baldy takes the advantage and goes through. So that moves the Networks car up 1 position into 8th.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a chaotic start almost. Position changing all over the place. John Eric Saxon 10th, and look at the train of cars behind him. Gosby, Pumalainen, Burlack, and also Konstantinov, who looks at the outside. There's cars weaving all over the place. You can see in the background Peter Varga coming under a bit of pressure from Marcel van der Linden, and he goes right on the outside of the final corner. Has he got enough momentum to stick it? Yes, he has. Great tech split manoeuvre there from van der Linden.
Pumalainen's got to run. Pumalainen's got to run, and Gosby going down to turn 1. And he's gone to the inside, and Pumalainen gets by Gosby. So that's precision on Ash Racing. He's on the inside line for Pumalainen. Can he sweep it round turn 2 and get on the throttle nice and early? He can. Gosby, oh, cheeky from Gosby. That was very cheeky. He pushed him right up on the curb. And he got wheel spin on the exit, and Konstantinov and Burlack have both gone by as well now.
Yeah, and look at Burlack, he tries to go round the outside of Konstantinov, and surely that's a great move there by Burlack. Really not letting his pressure get to him. Up to P12, doing a great job so far, as you see. Nico Pumalainen all over the back of that red and black GT Omega, wanting to try and get past as soon as he possibly can. Battles, as we say, all the way down the field, right to the very back. If you just take a look, 22nd race, Jonathan Dion there, 23rd, Masculi's a bit far back, and he may have been a pit stop. David Greco down in P24.
Yeah, and so at the front we've still got Morgan Moran from Bono Quiz. The gap switched 0.4 seconds between these two drivers, so they're starting to pull an advantage now over Frederick Nielsen, who's 1.1 behind. De Witt's then in 4th place from Rasmus Tali. Paris is slotted into 6th place. Reno Room's 7th. Baldy is right on his rear wing in 8th place.
See what he can do. He's got a nice slipstream going into the final corner. Is it going to be enough? I think Reno Room's doing a very nice move. Dives to the outside to try and defend. Baldy sensibly doesn't go for it, hoping Reno Room outbrakes himself. But look how close that Netrack to get to the back of Reno Room's car. Has he got enough to make a turn 1 move though? Yannick Lapchin waits expectantly in the background, waiting for one of them to make a mistake. Reno Room immediately dives to the outside. It's a very aggressive dive almost. And it's he's managed to defend the position now. And look how close Yannick Lapchin gets involved now.
Absolutely, Yannick Lapchin is close right up on his Baldy from Room, and then there's a slight gap now of 1.8 seconds to Parisis, who is held onto the back of Rasmus Tali as he tries to close down Patrick De Witt.
Yeah, so it's all going fireworks going off here, just 3 laps into the race. We've seen plenty of action in this race, living up to the hype and definitely worth the 2-week wait. Giorgio Baldi doing a great job in 8th at the moment. Yannick Lapchin 9th. John Eric Saxon is 10th from Gosby. Peter Burlack 12th. He's coming under a bit of pressure still from Konstantinov. These two have been locked in battle for a good few laps now. Pumalainen 14th, Peter Varga 15th, Van der Linden just behind in P16. Manasakis is 17th. Chatsaplantis is P18 at the moment. Blair Disley 19th for Silverline. And Jonathan Dion in P20 has been overtaken almost there by Fabrizio Gobbi and AT Racing. Couldn't quite get the job done.
Yes, the 3 cars at front are Moran, Huis and Nelson. Nelson just a little bit further back at 1.4 seconds behind Bono Huis, but it's those 3 drivers that didn't have the advantage over De Witt, and De Witt is now being caught by Rasmus Tali in the GT Omega car, and he's bringing Jim Paris along with him in the Ghosty car. Reno Room's just been behind. He's still got the battle going on with Baldy and Latchin from Saxon, from Gosby, from Burlack, from Kostadinov, from Pumalainen. And there's a gap then of 1.5 seconds to Varga, Van Linden, Manazakis, who might have a look on the inside of Van der Linden for 16th position to turn 1, will he? No. Oh, he does, but Van der Linden's braked very, very late and held the position.
It's a very
behind Jasper Narvis has just spun and, nearly spun anyway. That's a Silverline car, I believe. It is, Blair Disley. So Blair Disley's going to go on the outside now. That's for 17th place. But no, it doesn't look like Blair's been able to get by.
But what you see, this is Patrick DeWitt, Rasmus Tarley dueling away over 4th position, McCall versus GT Omega, and Patrick DeWitt was all over the back of Tarley earlier on in the lap. Can he get there towards the end of it? P4 for either of these guys is an exceptional result, and they want to get it early on so they can just have a breather through the rest of the race. But just behind them is a very handy looking Jim Paresis.
Yeah, and at the front, Moran still has that 4-tenth advantage over Bono Quis, and it looks like there's absolutely nothing splitting these two. Fantastic driving from both of them. It's actually Quis that has a slightly faster lap at this stage. He's at a 33.103 to 33.147 of Morgan Moran in the ATR management car.
3 line of stern coming down towards the final corner. Tarley from DeWitt, from Paresis. Rainer lingering in the background. Let's see if anyone's going to get the momentum needed to make a move into turn 1. Paresis just outside the top 5. He'd love a top 5 for Ghostly. That would be an exceptional result for the team. It's not near close enough this time. Back at the front though, that lead is, as you say, coming down. And Quis all over the back of Miranda almost. I think there's going to be a duel to go down in history anytime soon. Quis has a nice slipstream, almost opens up to get some clean air. Ducks back in right behind that Miranda rear wing, and I think he's going to get a bit sick of that name if he has to stay there any longer.
Yeah, Morgan Moran also, it looks like he has a higher top 7th gear because Bono Quis is tucked in behind and he hit the rev limiter twice before they even got down to turn 1 as he tried to close. So Bono Quis is going to need a crazy drive out the final corners to get side by side with him going into turn 1 because that 7th gear in the Precision Motorsports car doesn't look quite long enough to get a big long toe.
Absolutely, but of course Quis is looking faster overall, a bit further down the field, and the field's starting to separate out into their own battles now. Gosby on the back of John Eric Saxon. Let's see what kind of happens here then as these three all together. Yannick Rapchin just in front, of course, and ATR Management in P9. This is the battle for the last point playing position as they will go in towards the penultimate corner. Gosby needs a nice run, takes a wider line to do so. He's got a great run on the back straight. Let's see if we can get the slipstream, of course. Not going to help that Saxon's picking up a nice little cheeky toe of Yannick Rapchin, but Gosby not going to let that phase him at all as he breaks in towards the final corner. And look at the amount of cars, it's a good 5 cars there, all dueling away. So from the back, you've got Burlap 12th, Gosby 11th, Saxon 10th, Rapchin 9th, Boldy and Rooms all the way up 7th place, all dueling away. This is going to be a fantastic battle to watch.
Yeah, as the battle heats up towards the front
goes
as well
up the
between
inside,
Moran and Huis.
and he can't quite get it done. Sorry to interrupt. Let's keep the battle that goes all over the back of Martin Gosby, and these literally, this is great to watch. This is so intense, of course, but one guy makes a foot wrong towards the front of that pack and they can penultimately end quite a few races. Hopefully that won't happen. Burlap creeping all over the back stairs, as they say, with Martin Gosby. He needs to try and get the move done as soon as possible. Dejan Kostadin have losing a bit of time to this group in front now, but of course if they're all dueling away, he's going to make that time up quite soon.
Yeah, that group's headed up by Rainer Room at the moment, still from Boldy, and there's the gap then to Paresis, who's still trying to hunt down on DeWitt after Rasmus Tally went through for fourth position. So Tally is actually pulled away 1.1 second now from Patrick DeWitt, but Paresis looks like he's the next car to challenge DeWitt.
Could be crucial as well. We saw yesterday pit stops. A good pit stop really can help you with the field being this close as well. You really can gain literally 2 or 3 positions from a good pit stop.
Absolutely, and depending on what strategy people have opted to take, they could be running between 3 and 4 stops. And I think the optimal lap time to start, we'll see cars diving into pit lane will be round about lap 12 to 16, that sort of window for the 2 to 3 stop. For the 3 to 4 stop strategies.
We look at Eros Musculi, currently P23, trying to put a move on George Sanders. Let's see what Musculi can. Oh, it's P22 now. It's been in retirement, I believe. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it was Georgios Manasalkis is out of the race for Ghostby. He's had an accident, and he joins Giuseppe Ranieri and Giuseppe Marconi. who are also out of the race to the field, down to 22 cars.
Yannick Lachin's on the outside of Boldy going into turn 4. He's going to sweep around the outside of him. He does! Great move, Yannick Lachin in the hotel room, sweeping around the outside of Boldy, then going into turn 4, and he holds the position all the way through turn 5 and 6, the sweeping left and right hander. So then now we have Saxon on the back of Boldy.
Masculian's Transplanter's almost touching wheels as they climb the hill. Masculian not going to surrender. He wants his position as soon as he possibly can, but the Greek George Transplanter is not going to give it away. They're going to almost again a bit of contact. Very feisty racing here, all the way down the field.
Oh, Gosby's just hit Burlack on the exit of the hairpin. Gosby got huge oversteer and it's speed him towards Burlack. I don't know what the damage is for Burlack there, but Gosby certainly fell back and they've lost position to both Pumalina and Kostadinov. They've now gone through and tried to catch the back of John Eric Saxon's car. So, it was a hugely unfortunate moment for the Ash Racing car, but the oversteer sent him spearing into the side of Burlack's car.
Yep, so it's all kicking off now. I think some of the drivers will get a bit too more aggressive due to maybe frustration being stuck behind another car. But down through the field then, as you see, they're all starting to separate out now. Of course, of that Pumalina with a big load of oversteer on the back of the final corner, and that's enabled Peter Burlack in P13, so he had a nice run. Pumalina goes to the outside. Burlack takes the inside line in a Twister Racing. Is Pumalina going to surrender anytime soon? He tries to duck back up the inside to get the cutback. Great idea, but it's not going to be enough. He tries it again to get the cutback, but once again Peter Burlack showing no sign of surrendering. Side by side they go, and Burlack surely has the inside line now, and no, Pumalina closes him off. Burlack still, I think, well, I have to play smart there and think better of that one.
Yeah, Pumalina looked like he was always going to have to run out of turn 2 there. They got very, very close going through the exit of part of turn 1 into turn 2, but Pumalina made it stick around the outside into turn 4, and Pumalina moves up into 12th position, now trying to catch back with Kostadinov and John Eric Saxon. Here's Boldy, and then it's just in front of him from Lachin and Reino Room. So Reino Room is looking to try and close on the battle that's now brewing between DeVitt and Jim Parisis. Parisis in the Ghost Beach car trying to catch DeVitt, and then in front of them they have Rasmus Tally, who's pulled away to a 2-second advantage now. So a substantial advantage that Tally has been able to eke out from the GTO Made car, but he's 6.1 back from Frederick Nilsson, and Nilsson's only 2.3 back from Quees Baran battle. That battle at the front between Baran and Quees is 7/10.
Sorry to interrupt, Van der Linden's taken a trip onto the gravel trap. He's managed to get it going again, but whether he misses breaking point or no, I'm not sure. He's in P16 at the moment, so that's not going to help his race at all. Back towards, slightly towards the front, Gosby then, P14, and look at the line of cars as they go flying down the home straight. It's great to see. All the way up to still Reino Room in 7th, Lachin 8th, Valdius stands in 9th, Saxon is the man in the last points playing position at the moment, but under intense pressure from Dejan Kostadinov. Let's see what can happen during this lap. What's going to take place just behind you? See Pumalina got himself back in front of Burlack. Burlack still trying to fight his way past. I think if there's one place to make an impression is right now.
Yeah, Pumalina is now trying to close on the back of Kostadinov from John Eric Saxon. Saxon is trying to hold on to the back of Boldy, but Boldy has really been able to reel himself in onto the back of Yannick Lachin, and Lachin is still trying to navigate as well on Reino Room, but Reino Room has pulled out a 7/10 gap to Yannick Lachin, so at the moment it's just Boldy trying to catch Lachin, and in front of them, if Jim Parisis is ever closer to Patrick DeVitt for 5th and 6th position. He's 3/10 behind going down the back straight, as DeVitt holds the right hand side, but Parisis is going to break later, I'm sure of it. He may get a run, and he's gone wider as well, so this will go to the sweeping corner. DeVitt was locking up as well, but he got a wonderful exit there, kept the advantage of 3/10 of a second. He will close though, Parisis. I don't know if he's going to get close enough to him going into turn 1. DeVitt holds the left hand side, not even thought about defending defence right at the very last. So DeVitt smooths the inside at the very last moment, holds it through turn 2. Parisis goes over that curb, and he's got a great run on the back of DeVitt now. He's right in the slipstream heading up towards turn 4. Underneath the Thrustmaster sign, DeVitt this time does defend, sweeps around turn 4. He'll get the undercut. Can he get the drive off the corner? No, DeVitt's drive off the corner is superb. He's compromising his entry too much by sweeping to the inside, and it's allowing Parisis to run out of the corners.
Absolutely, the question is, when's Parise going to find his chance to go for the move? He's getting the momentum, as we said. David is under intense pressure for a top 5, but look who's in the background. If these two start dueling away, that train of Reino Room and company will be soon on the back of Jim Parise.
Yeah, if those two start battling between Parise and David, then it's going to give a great opportunity for Reino Room, Latchin and Baldy all to close right up on them, as Saxon's not too far behind either, bringing along Kostadinov and Pumalainen with him, with Burlak not too far back behind Pumalainen either.
Let's see what Parise can do then. He's got some nice momentum for a slipstream, perhaps maybe on towards the back straight. I think he's going to get a move in now. You see, Reino Room tend to do a very aggressive dive to the sideline each time, and all the cars follow in unison, so whether this is breaking the slipstream very early on or no, remains to be seen. But Parise has got a great run as they head in towards turn 1. When's he going to go for the move? You see David drifting towards the outside of the track, and he cuts to the inside. Parise is toes him around the outside. He has to sweep round, and he's got the move done. David still has the inside line. Parise so manages to make it stick. Great move there.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic move, but DeWitt's going to have the run off the corner from going through turn 3 up towards turn 4, and he's going to drift it. He's a bit of touching, a bit of contact there between the two drivers. DeWitt sweeps on the outside, contact between the two pair of them. Shouldn't be conduct there for Parise. He realised he touched him. He allowed DeWitt to drive off the corner. That was very close to Robin Racing coming up towards turn 4 though between the pair of the drivers.
Yeah, and in the move, Morgan Moran is set the quickest second sector of anyone. So he's starting to pull away from Parise a bit now.
Yeah, the advantage is now from Moran up to 1.1 second. The pit request lights on for both drivers, so we are going to see both the front runners of Moran and Huis come in on lap. It'll be starting lap 12. Moran light goes off. So will we have Moran? I don't think we will. I don't think Moran will pit at this point. He carries on. What's Huis going to do? Carries on as well.
I don't think with Moran doing these sort of
Nilsson's in.
he's going to pit
Frederick
Nilsson,
third place man. Frederick Nilsson has dived into pit lane though. So it looks like he's opted for a 4-stop then, that must be.
All the pit bosses will be watching his sort of strategy to see if it works. It's a very risky manoeuvre. He was up there in a 3rd position. So once he feels the time has come to take a risk.
Well, it's either a 4-stop or he's going for a very long 3-stop strategy. So away Nilsson goes, dropped the revs on the exit, come out of his pit box though, so he will return to the track. He's dropped behind Burlak, Gosby's going to go by, and Vargas as well, so he returns out in 15th place.
Luckily there's not too much traffic, but if he gets his pedal on, he's going to end up very soon in the battle between...
Side by side with Reino Room this time, so Room's got to have a run. This is allowed lap shift around the outside of both pair of them. He's
what a move he can take
5
this
and 6. He is. Latchin's going all the way around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the turn 6. He gets him. Latchin moves up past Parise and Reino Room. A superb advantageous move there from Yannick Latchin.
Move of the day by far. Under pressure once again from Jojo Baldi. Baldi again almost backs off there, didn't want to make any contact, very sensible. P8 don't throw it away, but look at them all streaming through, it's crazy to watch.
Parise is trying to get back onto action straight away, but behind them, Reino Room, Baldi, Saxon, Kostadinov. Pumalainen's thereabouts as well as they sweep down through the left and right now. What's happening with Moran and Huis? They're both in. Morgan Moran and Bon Huis are both in pit lane. Moran had a scruffy entry as well, and Huis has closed up massively. So Huis dives into pit lane. Morgan Moran's in pit lane as well now.
A battle of the pit crew then, let's see. Look at that, right behind each other. This is going to be very, very good to watch indeed. Bon Huis can chuck his nose out first. Who's it going to be? Tensions arise. Bon Huis out first! He's leapfrogged him in the pit lane. Great stop there by the Precision Motorsport team. Absolutely perfect. And Morgan Moran must be feeling very angry right now. He's got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely, but we're coming into this scrap that's going on further on down the field because it's Kostadinov's gone on the inside of Saxon and got by. Huis is going to come out on fresh rubber behind 7-car train. So this is going to be absolutely hell unless these guys pit.
Saxon looking at the inside. He's got the slipstream that he needs. Dives up the inside and he can't quite make it stick. Shut the door. They cross that on it, but this is supreme. So just look at the top 10 teams that you've got here. It's crazy to see. It's not at all a very dominant. And you've got GT Omega out front as it stands, and ACR, RS Evo, Ghost Speed, the other GT Omega of Consador, Faster Than Speed, then both positions, and Morgan Moran, then an Astro Racing of Miles Speed. You couldn't have a mixed top 10 more if you tried.
Absolutely, and that's on the inside. That's costed enough on the inside of Paresis. Costed enough going.
Oh, and look at this. Jonathan Saxon is under pressure, and you saw her.
Oh my God! Puma nearly took out Huis.
And now Moran's going to slip through. Moran's got it back. And all that work in the Precision Motorsports garage has gone to waste by a silly error from Mikko Pumalainen, and he's not going to be very happy indeed. Look at the time Bonnie Huis has lost. Now Huis has got it back, hasn't he?
No, that's Pumalainen. It's Huis. Huis is up. Huis got by. Pumalainen nearly took him out, but Huis just managed to avoid him. I don't think
slips up the inside of John Eric Saxon. I think he might have to back off it.
Oh, this is going to give Moran a run. They're diving in, so Paresis dives in as well, and that's Saxon's pit lane. But Morgan Moran's got to run out the final corner. Van der Linden's just in front as they all stream to pit lane.
I don't know, we should watch the pit stop. Look at them all coming in.
What advantage Bonnie got there. Oh no, he's in the inside. Sorry, Moran went round the outside, can't hold it. Huis is going to close him off at turn 2. Moran dives through. This is going to give the advantage back to Bonnie Huis though. Bonnie Huis keeps the lead.
Just look at pit lane. This looks like something out of a NASCAR sprint race. Just look at them all streaming in and out. Look at them all leaving together. That's a good 5 cars there.
Moran's on the inside, turn 4. Oh, that's a late lunge. That's a crazy dive. He actually hit the front of Bonnie Huis there. That was too much for Morgan Moran there. That was a very, very risky move. Way too late on the brakes there. Caught the front of Huis' car. Huis has been able to keep the advantage, Joe, but that's oh no, he's got to stop behind Van der Linden. He's got to go careful trying to pass the back marker. He's got by him. That's Morgan Moran was so late to turn 4 there, and Mikko Pumalainen nearly got back by him. Could have helped his teammate there slightly, but no. Pumalainen is still in 3rd place, yet to make a pit stop though. As Fredrik Nilsson has closed 2.3 seconds behind him in their squabble.
Look at Gosby coming under a bit of pressure from Peter Burlack, P14. Let's see what Peter can do. He's had a pretty good race so far in the opening stint. He's really got himself in the thick of the action. There's a pace to make an impression. It's here. And right now he's doing that very well. I think he does get himself past Martin Gosby. That will be interesting, but this field's all separated out now after the pit stop, unfortunately. So it's just going to be who the tyres come to first. It's going to dictate who gets out in front of them all. The back
Pumalainen pits. 3rd place man Pumalainen into pit lane, and that's released Nilsson behind him because he was catching him, but Van der Linden's just the back marker between them. So Pumalainen ducks into pit lane now, as does Gobby. That allows Tally to move up 2 positions into 4th again.
So the field rearranging themselves in their older order. So Bonnie Huis is getting himself in there. I think he's still going to be a very happy chappy right now. Moran has got a lot of work to do. We've seen how closely matched these guys are for a good half the season now, if you remember back to last year. And there was nothing that could separate them. It'll be back and forth with sector times. And it's all going to come down to a risky move, which we saw Moran try to pull off, but I think that was too risky.
I think Andre Kunchman and Martin Christensen have just gained about 20 years each, though, watching these 2 battles, especially Andre Kunchman as the ATR car flew up the inside at turn 4. He must be thinking that front wing best stay on.
Absolutely, but all the battles starting to commence again. If you look further down the field, Boldy got a great pit stop there up to P6. Front, of course, Saturn of Lapshin. Rainer Room once again under pressure now from Paresis. So Room sort of descended down the order after leading his train around the track for a good 10 laps or so.
And the train is still going on because Kostadinov is got Lapshin behind him. Rainer Room, Paresis, Pumalainen, Gosby, Burlack. Saxon is just 1.9 behind Burlack then. And then Varga is, again, those Netrex boys are having a cracking race and just keep themselves consistently thereabouts.
Absolutely, in a very strong race by them yesterday. Of course, Robert Sarkenberg coming in a great 4th position for the Netrex Academy. But right now, I think that's what we said, Giorgio Boldy's doing a great job up there. So let's see if he can keep it there during the rest of the race. We've still got a long way to go.
Just a shout for the Mac Corp drivers, but well, De Witt's in 17th and Greco is 21st, so their issues still seem to have continued and curtailed to the point where they've dropped right down.
Rainer Room up the inside, sorry to interrupt. Rainer Room having to defend now against Yannick Lapshin, who's trying to force his way through. Down to P9, Paresis just behind him, 10, who almost looked for a cheeky move there.
Boldy's gone up the inside of Disley, and he has done. I don't think Disley actually made a stop yet, but Boldy's just gone up for 5th place into turn 4, sorry, so that's moved Boldy up to 5th place and will now give him some breathing space with him and Kostadinov.
Trying to force his way up the inside, that was never going to work, but all over the back, it's that Senna Tribute covered ATR management car. screen for Go Speed once again in the top 10. He's been quite a consistent driver, obviously struck by some engine problems. But let's see what Priest can do, just weaving out there to get some clean air into the engine flow. Priest needs to try and get a move, and he's got Dainhumain just behind him. As he feels once again. The thing is though, these could potentially end up all battling for, 6th, 7th place, which means these could all be point positions, so you don't want to throw anything away when you're fighting for quite valuable positions in pack racing like this. Yeah,
Rasmus Tally got himself a nice little cushion between Frederick Nilsson 7 seconds down the road, but then Giorgio Boldi is 10.8 seconds further behind him, so a nice cushion going on for the GT Omega team here in 4th place currently, behind which is the absolute chaos. Costa Dion just got by Disney.
David Greco, Jonathan Dion going at it. Dion trying to, oh, it's Jimmy Dion, I beg your pardon. So Dion just getting overtaken out by Greco, who gets himself up eventually, slowly climbing his way through the field now, up to P18. Further on towards his battle, Jim Priestis has got past Yannick Latchin for P9, which demotes Latchin to 10th. However, he's not going to take it too kindly, still trying to search her way back past Priestis.
Absolutely, and the lead at the front is still basically the same as they were when they first came to pit lane, but obviously it's Bono Huis that leads now from Morgan Moran, and the advantage that Bono has is 0.8 of a second currently. Frederick Nilsson, he's 3.7 seconds behind for the Twister Racing team, and then we've got Tally, he's in 4th place, Boldy 5th, Kostanov 6th, Disley 7th currently, but Renault Room's going to be past him very, very soon, I would have thought, and that's going to be GT Omega on the Silverline racing car. From there we've got Parisis in 9th, and I think Renault Room's got the drive off the corner, sorry, he's just got the drive. Yes, Disley's going to defend the inside straight away, but I don't think that's going to make any difference, because Renault Room's going to sweep around the outside of him with thoughts, and he does. Around the outside goes Renault Room, and Paris is going to be take that advantage as well. So he loses his 2 positions in one corner. Room goes through, Paris is through, Disley drops to 9th.
Renault Room again, very aggressively switching sides of the track to try and break the mold of the slipstream. And it tends to do the job, but Paris is still haunting the back of Renault Room. And look, this train once again forming its shape. Yannick Latchin 10th, followed by Dainhumain. Martin Gosby desperate to try and get himself in the points, and then just behind them could be a little underdog here, Peter Burlack. We saw in Canada in the World Trophy, he overtook 2 cars in one corner, just as Latchin did earlier on here. If he could replicate that again, he would get himself definitely into the top 10 if you can just try and find the right opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and that training car just seems to keep extending itself every single time. Boulder with the advantage from Kostadinov, from Room, Parisis, Disley, Latchin, Dainhumain, Gosby, Burlack, Saxon, and Vargas not too far behind Saxon either. And here's Gobby, in fact. Gobby for the ATR team, so the AT Racing team, sorry, is in 16th.
So AT Racing, not quite at the pace they did in Melbourne, if you remember Stoffel Van Dorn being a very dominant force, getting himself up into 2nd place for qualifying. Right now,
Disney's run wide, and it's allowed Latchin through. He's run right at turn 14. Turn 14 is at the very bottom part of the circuit as he sweeps onto the back straight, and it's allowed Latchin to go through, so Latchin moves up into 9th place. Round the outside, is that going to be Dainhumain? It is indeed. Dainhumain's going round the outside of Disney now and gets by as well. And Gosby's going to get into the slipstream of Dainhumain and follow him by. Ducks underneath the Silverline wing and then pulls out again, and Gosby goes through as well. So that's Disley now back to 12th place, and he will have Burlack now all over the back of him.
What's interesting, if you just sift through the field, literally from the leads, you've got Huis and Moran quite spacious, and Nilsson, Tarley, and then Boldy in 5th, and as soon as you go past Boldy, you just go through this insane train of cars, all the way down to around P12 and 13.
Burlack through on Disley.
Dainhumain around the outside of Gosby, inside, I beg your pardon. Gosby's been hung out to dry, slips back into the slipstream. It's not going to be enough yet, I don't think. He needs to try and get the slipstream when they hit the back straight.
Absolutely, he's going to try and tuck underneath that rear wing of the Precision Motorsports car. I don't think he's going to get close enough though, and he's not. So the advantage now with Mikko Dainhumain.
Yeah, and look who's lingering in the background. Peter Berlak still waiting to prove himself here. And to be fair, I mean, as you say, coming from the World Trophy, he's done quite a good job so far to handle the pressure.
He has. You really got to commend him for coming up from World Trophy, jumping a division in between and going straight into the World Championship. And the gap at the front between Huis and Moran is up to 1.1 seconds now, so Huis just starting to stretch those legs a little bit.
Yeah, and Rasmus Tyler's got himself a little comfort bubble there in P4, and he's got himself away from the Giorgio Boldi and Costantino battle. And let's see how this happens now as they come down the straight. Surely Boldi's got the momentum to try and defend it. Costantino weaving away, got the inside line. Boldi takes the outside and sweeps it round. And I think Costantino may try and stick one round the outside. I think a bit of contact there. Boldi trying to defend as much as he can. And I think Costantino may get the cut back now. He's got the slipstream, and look how close he is trying to fight for the outside line. Boldi defends. Costantino forces one up the inside as they climb the hill, and around he goes. And Boldi backs off. It was a good manoeuvre there from Costantino, but he's not going to give up yet. Boldi's still trying to fight back. And he goes around the outside, side by side, as they go through the quick left-right hander. And I think Boldi is not wanting to relinquish that position.
No, Costantino had quite an oversteer moment going through the exit turn. Oh no! Boldi's gone wide.
And around goes Jim Parisis. That's exactly what we were talking about. One mistake, and another driver who just slipped through. So Boldi down to 7th.
Yeah, Boldi goes from 5th to 7th now. So Costantino's through. Parisis is through, and he's going to be under heavy attack from GT Omega's Renault Rooms very, very soon. Yannick Latchin is 1.6 further back than from Renault Room.
So 23 cars remain in the race after 22 laps, so almost at the halfway point, and your retirements currently are Martin Gosby was the latest one. Unfortunately, he was going quite well there in the Ash Racing. Then it was Georgios Melasaukis, Giuseppe Wanyari and Giuseppe Marconi. So all unfortunately have retired here today. But luckily, it's still quite a strong field out there.
Boldi's got a run on Renault Room going down to turn 1 against the RS Evo car, and he's going to sweep around the outside of him. Boldi, he's holding that NetRex car so perfectly going to turn 2, and he has got the position. But can
him still trying to sweep it? He needs that momentum. He's trying to force it up the inside. Great move there by Renault Room if he can make it stick. Boldi still having none of it. He's doing a great job there in the NetRex, but he's had to relinquish it, wiggling around frantically, trying to find their way through, but it's not going to be enough, and Renault Room gets promoted to 7th.
Yeah, Renault Room gets up past the NetRex racing car. He can now hunt down Parisis and Kostadinov, who are still quite close together as they come up on the back of Van Linden. So they'll be passing the back marker very, very shortly. Gap at the front, still 1 second between Huis and Moran.
Further down, both Matt Court cars, Patrick DeWitt and David Greco, 16th and 17th, so not been the best race for them at the moment. They're trying to catch Fabrizio Gobbi in up to 50th, who isn't really that far away from the Peter Varga and Blair Ducey battle, and they're falling away from the train now, but the train starts to separate out a bit. But still, nonetheless, so between 8th place and 15th place, separated by 10 seconds.
Yeah, Parisis Kostadinov seating up. Parisis had to go towards turn 14, now heading up to the final corner of turn 15. He has closed on him, and Kostadinov locks the inside tyre as he tries to hold a tighter line. Parisis is going to have to run out in the corner, and it's going to be very, very close going down to turn 1. Kostadinov immediately goes defensive. I don't think Parisis is going to quite get there, is he? Yes, he's closing, he's closing, he's closing. Round the outside goes Parisis, and can he hold it? Docks back to the inside, he's going to line himself up for the exit of turn 2. Kostanov's got to go deep. Parisis can't get it done now. He's got a perfect run all the way up towards turn 4. He'll dive to the right hand side. Kostanov defends. Round the outside will go Jim Parisis. Brakes later, tries to hold it. No, Kostanov holds the inside line. Locks the brakes up Parisis and has relinquished that advantage he had going round the outside Kostanov.
Yeah, so it's been a frantic first half of the race so far, and it can only get better. There's Renault Room down in P7 now with Latchin 9. As they all start to sift through. The train will start to separate out now. The gaps are increasing quite a bit, and they may start going to their own duo battles as we saw earlier with Renault Room and Boldi. They're back at the front. The gap between Bono Huis and Morgan Moran is well, time averaging out once again. Moran isn't too far away. He's there enough to try and accumulate a bit of pressure, but he's going to need something special to try and get past your leader. 1.3 seconds separates him and Moran at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We expect the next round of pit stops to be roughly between 26 to 30, what I thought, for the next round of pit stops. So they'll be in around about 3 to 4 laps time. And if it's anything like the first round of pit stops, it's going to be absolutely chaotic, frantic, and should be very, very entertaining to watch. Bonnequist, in the meantime, has got the advantage up to 1.3 seconds, so not sure where Moran just lost 0.3 of a second, but it has increased, so Huis is out to 1.3. I find it quite interesting that Bonnequist being able to pull the pin more so on Morgan Moran than Morgan Moran was also on Bonnequist. Bonnequist definitely more comfortable at the front of the field and really finds the rhythm and a groove so efficiently.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like at the end of the day now, strategy, we say will play key. If you look at that train and what's happened because of the pit stops, we've seen cars get promoted and demoted. David Greco and Patrick DeVitt are being the biggest losers of that train now in 16th and 17th, but if the second round of stops can produce the same, then hopefully it's going to be an entertaining end to the race. We're on lap 24 out of 56 now then. And it's the current order: Huis from Moran, Frederick Nielsen again is third in qualifying, the underdog hero, currently P3, away from GT Omega double of 4th and 5th of Kostadinov and Rasmus Salian. If they can finish here, that would be a great result for Damian and the whole GT Omega team.
Yeah, GT Omega having a very solid day with Rasmus Salian obviously at the moment in 4th, and then Kostadinov in 5th position with Jim Paresis all over the back, all over the rear wing of Kostadinov though at the moment. So that Ghost Speed car is still hunting down the GT Omega car, and the second, or the sister team, the RS Evo team of Renault Room, is in 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. So a bit further down the field then, Peter Burlack just outside the top 10 now, P11. And what a day it will be if you can score some points.
Yeah, absolutely. And the advantage now up again for Bonnequist. It's up to 1.4 seconds. So Bonnequist is just trying to control the front of this field. Fastest lap was a 1:32.890 to Morgan Moran's 1:32.997. And then Frederick Nelson's best is 0.3 off that with a 33.254, and it's dropped 5.8 seconds behind Morgan Moran.
Yannick Lapchin trying to apply some pressure to Netrex driver Giorgio Baldi, who's still P8 at the moment, doing quite a solid job there. See how this battle will commend. Lapchin, P9, wants a good result to try and support his teammate in the Constructors' Championship, currently second. Leading the Constructors' Championship, however, is not leading the race. 1.399, the gap between him and current leader Bonnequist.
Yeah, and that advantage that Bonnequist is starting to stretch out is up to 1.5 seconds now, so another few tenths of a second taken out from Morgan Moran there, as Nilsson has sustained the gap to 5.8 seconds. And we've got Tally, Kostinov is still trying to fend off Paresis. Rain Room from Baldi, from Lapchin, from Pumalainen, from Burlack, Saxon, Varga, Gobby, DeVitt, Disley, Greco, Masculi, and both the Dion brothers.
Yeah, so quite a mix-up order then, to be fair. I don't think anyone could have predicted the top 10 to be quite as it is now. But it's shaping up to be quite a thrilling ending to the race, especially if this train begins to get intense again. Main round, the right battle though is Paresis in a sandwich between Kostaninov and just behind him Reina Room in the RS Evo team. And Room again for RS Evo, if they could get some points, that would be a great day for them. And he just needs to try and get past him. If he can get top 5, that would be very good for him. As Paresis goes to the inside, he's not going to get enough there. So constantly looking for ways to try and get past that GT Omega. Got to be careful, there's a very feisty looking Estonian right behind him. Reina Room trying to just cling onto the back of the Ghost Speed car and force the way through, maybe at a point where I'd love to be in Room's position, because you've got two guys dueling away. If one of them makes a mistake or just going a bit too deep, then you can just so easily slip underneath, especially in turns 1 and 2 as well. We've seen that earlier on in the race.
We absolutely have, and the advantage for the front runners is now 1.6 seconds for Bonnequist. Frederick Nilsson, again, he's the first man to pit, so the second round of pit stops happening now with Frederick Nilsson into pit lane, and he will start lap 26. So into the pit lane comes Frederick Nilsson. Rasmus Sally will go speeding on through. Now, all these other guys behind Kostadinov, he is holding position behind, in front of Paresis, and they go through, as does Renault Room, Baldi, Lapchin, Pumalainen, Burlak, Saxon, Varga, they've all headed on through, so where does Nilsson return out? He comes back out in
front of the Kostanidov battle. So
that's crucial. That is crucial for Nilsson there.
Actually, I mean, if he ended up right in the middle between Kostanidov and Paresis, I think that would be the worst possible place to end up right now.
It would, but he's got that advantage, so Nilsson is back out in 4th place and just behind one of the back markers, which is Chatsapantelis.
Oh, Patrick DeWitt's in the pits from P15. As he's frantically moving his tyres, trying to get some heat in as he leaves his pit box. Oh, he stalled it! He stalled it. Oh, he's got it going again. That's a very scruffy exit there from Patrick DeWitt, stalling the engine after his pit stop, and that's making Matt Corsair go from bad to worse.
Yep, I think we may see Bono Huis and possibly Morgan Moran dive into pit lane this lap. The gap is 1.9 seconds, and Bono Huis does indeed come into pit lane, but Morgan Moran goes through.
I think that's a good idea there by Moran, especially after last time. He actually lost the lead due to the pit stop, so he needs to set the one heck of an end lap now if he's to try and get any sort of advantage out of this.
Well, I hate to say it, but I don't think he will, because the new tyres will go on some Bono Huis's car, and he might start getting the undercut come through. So it's going to be tight, but Morgan Moran, that's a risky move. It could pay off for him, though. Depends when he comes round and makes his pit stop. Rasmus Halle goes through. Where's Nilsson? Come around the final corner. Huis out pit lane now. Got the advantage, as he will just have to pass Jimmy D on, I think it is.
So Moran then needs to try and keep it as clean as he possibly can. He's coming up towards some traffic. Shouldn't affect him too much. Rasmus Halle looking extremely comfortable. That has to be said at the moment. We said in that sort of comfort cushion, he's got Huisa safely tucked away. But obviously needs to pit will be Frederick Nilsson in 4th. Kostanidov still under pressure from Jim Paresis and Reino Room. These three, when they pit in, this is going to be absolutely crucial for Reino Room to try and get out in front of one of them. A bit further down the field, Mikko Pumalainen up to 9th place because of all the pit stop mayhem going on. If all the train goes in at the same time like before, this is going to get extremely tense. But you know, you don't want to pull out into someone coming in. Peter Varga outside the top 10 at the moment, with Fabrizio Gobbi just behind.
Race lead in pit lane. Morgan runs into pit lane now, so he only went 1 lap longer than Bono Huis. So into the box comes Morgan Moran. We'll now have to wait and see where Bono Huis will come out. Where's Bono Huis at the moment? He's coming into the final corner.
The final corner. Let's see what he can do. Bono Huis, Rasmus Halle as well, and pass goes Huis onto the back straight, and Moran is on the way out now, and that's not going to be enough, surely.
Not even close.
No, nowhere near. I think he's maybe lost more time. Huis goes through, and it's, well, see what the gap is when they leave.
2.5 seconds. Huis got a huge advantage. He's increased that advantage, in fact. Now it's 1.9 when he came in pit lane. It's now shaking out to 2.7. So that's there's your undercut if you ever wanted one. So Bono Huis has got a nice little cushion now from Morgan Moran. Frederick Nilsson is actually closed more so on Morgan Moran because he's brought the gap down to 5.8. That was around 6.4 before, so not too sure what's going on with ATR's pit stops, but they're struggling in terms of the actual pit stop themselves, because that's a great in and out lap for Bono Huis over Morgan Moran and also Frederick Nilsson.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kostanidov still P9 behind Jim Paresis. I think they've both made their pit stops as well. So nothing's happened there. Reino Room still just behind them. So nothing's changed in that area.
Yeah, there's obviously a few other people have made their pit stops, and I think we're going to see a few more diving in also, which, oh yeah, especially Yannick Latchin after he just oversteered out the hairpin, which was very, very nasty for him. That was down at turn 9, as he now comes down towards the end of the lap, and I think he will dive into pit lane with Mikko Pumalainen and also Rasmus Halle currently split the pair of them in the GT Omega. And into pit lane comes Yannick Latchin, 4th place. He'll head in now, so Rasmus Halle goes through, and Mikko Pumalainen also into pit lane. And I think we'll see Gobbi actually continue. So we now need to wait and see where Paresis and Kostanidov come out in relation to both Latchin and Pumalainen. one of the Dion's brothers are in pit lane also.
Yeah, Marcel van Linden actually out of the race. Unfortunately for the other RS Evo team, his teammate Rainer Room still going strong, but suspension failure it was for Marcel van Linden.
This is close, Lachin's ducked back in behind Rainer Room, but Boldy's gone through as well, so Lachin's behind Boldy. So another position for Netrex there.
Up to P9 then to Trudeau Boldy. Let's see what Yannick Lachin can do though. I'm sure this is far from over. His train once again resumes its shape. Ooh. This time Room towards the rear end of it, and it's Costanidov heading the way. Just behind Jim Parisas.
Gobby is currently in 5th position, but just in front of him, going through turn 4, Chapter Pantless flew off the track and threw a load of dirt up into the face of Gobby there. That was a pretty unpleasant moment for the 5th place positioned AT racing car. So, a bit of a rundown. Barnahuis leads currently still 2.5 second advantage over Morgan Moran from Frederick Nilsson in 3rd place for Twister. GT Omega's Rasmus Talley in 4th. Pritzy Gobby, he's currently in 5th position and carrying on. Parisas is in 6th position for Ghost Speed. Kostadinov for GT Omega is in 7th. Rainer Room for RS Evo 8th. Boldy for Netrex in 9th. Yannick Lachin 10th position for the ATR management car. Between the sister teams there. Mikko Pumalainen is in 11th. Peter Burlak is 12th for Twister. And then we have, let's see, we have John X Saxon from Blair Disley, Silverline car in 14th, Vargas 15th, DeWitt 16th, David Greco is 17th. So not a good day for both those Mac Corp cars at the moment. 16th and 17th for two wonderfully fast drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Patrick DeWitt has been sort of stalled in the pit box, which isn't going to help him at all. I think the Mac Cup guys won't be very happy at the moment, but hopefully, I mean, you've still got quite a number of laps to try and turn things around, but it's not looking promising at the moment.
Currently not, and those two, like I said, are 15th and 16th. We got Masculi for AT Racing in 18th, Dion in 19th place, Chaps Panthers in 20th, but looks like he's just letting a whole series of cars go by. As Lachin locks in big time going through turn 9 trying to catch Boldy, as Chaps Panthers has actually spun now. And then we have Jonathan Dion behind in 21st. Chance Passless is just getting recovered from turn 9. Retirements for Van Linden in the RS Evo team 22nd. Martin Goswin out for Ash Racing 23rd. Manizakis 24th. Ranieri for Silverline 25th. Marconi 26th.
Unfortunately, a few retirements today. Marcel van der Linden been the most recent of them all with a suspension problem.
Oh no! What happened there? Gobby on entry to pit lane by the looks of it. Gobby on entry to pit lane from 5th position. Looks like he spun it on entry and stalled the car.
Have a look. Well, what's he?
Oh, he's retired as well. That's such a shame for Gobby there and for the AT Racing team as well. What a fantastic drive he's having. Currently in 5th position before he's going to dive into pit lane. Gone longer than anyone else as well, but it looks like he's actually dropped it on an entry to pit lane and stalled the engine. What absolute crying shame that is for Gobby.
It's going extremely slowly earlier, like almost like he was just trying to save some fuel or cool the engine down. So I guess the car just sort of gave away. I'll try and check with Martin Christensen and see what happened, if I can get any insight. But I think he was going a tad slow there, so unfortunately that's the end to what was a promising race.
Oh, such a shame for Gobby there as well after seeing that AT racing car up in 5th place. That's a real heartbreak there for Gobby. But it's allowed the tail behind of Parisas, Kostadinov, Room, Baldy, Lachin, Pumalainen and Burlak all to progress. And then the fastest and speed Saxon in 12th.
It's paid the door for a few of the guys who like Lachin and things to maybe get a little bit of a boost from that. I mean, I'd love to see how this top 10 shapes up towards the end of the race, because I can't see it staying in the same order it is now. If you look down, you've got Lachin, 9th, Pumalainen and 10th on the bubble. Giorgio Boldi, Rainer Room, Kostadin and Jim Parisas all were outside the top 10, now find themselves in the top 5.
Absolutely, and Morgan Moran has actually taken 3/10 now out of Bono Huis. It was 2.5 the gap, it's down to 2.2. So Moran's just picked up his pace just a touch, as he's just trying to close in on the Precision Motorsports car of Bono Huis, but not at the moment. He can't do it anymore. That's gone back up to 2.4 seconds now, so it's ebbing and flowing throughout the sectors.
Yeah, absolutely. So Morgan Moran's still trying to push on against Bono Huis. And this amount you have to imagine though as well, if he didn't lose that time during the pit box, how intense this battle would be between them right now.
I'm still not too sure what happened for the ATM management team there and Morgan Moran, because the entry he had wasn't too bad. Huis was obviously able to close because he used Moran as a brake marker essentially, so he got some time advantage there. But even in the pit stop itself, Huis got a huge jump coming out of the pit lane. So and then it happened again second time round because the gap went from 1.9 to 2.6. So ATR might just have to investigate their pit stops, or at least their pit entries and pit exits a little bit more, because unfortunately at the moment that's cost them quite a substantial amount of time in terms of how quick these two are going.
In the first pit stop he lost 0.7 seconds, and in the second one he lost 1.4, so... No, other way round, sorry, but either way it's still a huge chunk of time to lose in the pit stop, and unfortunately that could have cost him a race win.
Well, still a long way to go, as they say, as Vettel always seems to say, as we still wait for the third round of pit stops to happen yet, and that will be a great battle between the Precision and ATR team as well, to see where the Bono Huis and Morgan Moran will reappear. But at the moment, that advantage for Bono Huis is 2.5 seconds.
Still quite a way to go yet though, it's far from over, and hopefully we're going to see some entertaining action. We always say every race here that it's not over until the checker flag falls, and that always tends to be the case. It always lives up to the expectation, and hopefully we're going to see that closer towards the end. Just a matter of laps to go now then, and your top 10 currently: Bono Huis leads from Morgan Moran, Frederick Nielsen 3rd, Rasmus Tarley up to 4th place from Jim Paresis in 5th. Ian Costamino is 6th place, followed by Rainer Room in the RS Evo team. He's having a great drive today. Yannick Lapchin in 8th in the other ATR management. Giorgio Boldi doing good in 9th. Mika Pumlan and your man just outside the top 10 at the moment is Peter Burlack.
Gaps starting to appear in the field now as people's pace has picked up and battles have commenced. So there's quite a big gap now from Nielsen to Moran, which is 8.5 seconds. Nielsen to Tarley is 8.4. Paresis is then 17.9 seconds behind Tarley, and then Kostanov is just 2.6 behind Paresis. Rainer Room only 6/10 behind Kostanov, so there could be a move for the RS Evo team there if Rainer Room can close any more on the GT Omega team. So that would be interesting to see between those two. Jan Lachin is just 1.6 behind Rainer Room. Boldi is 1.6 further behind Lachin. Pumalainen 2.2 behind Boldi. Burlack is 2.1 behind Pumalainen. And then 1.1 behind Burlack is John-Eric Saxon, with 8.4 seconds down the road for Blair Disley, who's got Varga hunting him down in the Networks car.
Yeah, and definitely a strong performance by Networks, has to be said. So we'll see how they do towards the end. Blair Disley has also done pretty well today. Started towards the back of the field, P13, so it's going okay there. Kind of a bit of pressure from Vargo, so we'll keep an eye on that battle as it goes on. Still though, Rainer Room and Dian Kosamna are still going on. Of course, these two teams both telling me GT Omega like a sister team, so Room and Kosamina know each other very well from last season, of course, and I'm sure that will carry over into this battle. I think Room fully deserves where he is there, to be fair. He's driven a superb race and made some awesome overtaking manoeuvres.
I'm sure nerves heighten between for the team managers of sister teams when they start approaching each other. It's going to be exactly the same here for the RS Evo on the predominant GT Omega team, so you're going to have to go careful.
Yeah, I think things are starting to heat up once again here. It's a pack, and I don't think you can predict the top 10 as it is at the moment. It's still ever changing, and I think right now Yannick Lapchin is quite handy as well, just behind Rainer Room.
Yeah, just in terms of race speeds in comparison to what we.
Oh, look at that! Sorry to interrupt, Peter Varga and Patrick De Witt going at it. De Witt trying to fight his way back through the field and gets past Vargas. So De Witt's on a bit of a charge. It was a very aggressive move through turn one, pretty much pushing him out of the way. Almost as next on his little hit list is Blair Disley, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a good pace in his tyres at the moment. As just was saying, in terms of reference to where we were last night, where we saw a fast lap of Calamise, 1:33.2. The actual World Championship boys are going 4/10 a lap faster, or in terms of Bono Huis anyway, it's a 4/10 advantage that he has at the front, which is 32 or 32.8.
Yeah, and 2.2 seconds separate him from Frenchman Morgan Morand. And if Bono Huis wins today, the two will be neck and neck in the title, both with 25 points. So the time battle's really heating up. We're only 2 races in, and it's only going to get more interesting from here on out. You see Peter Bertac coming under a bit of pressure there from John-Eric Saxon in the Faster Than Speed car. Again, Faster Than Speed looking quite good today. John-Eric Saxon P12 at the moment, as he tries to force his way past Bertac. Gets a nice slipstream onto the home straight. Is this going to be enough for a move into turn one? Not quite. Bertac defends the outside line very well, and I don't think Saxon was close enough that time. So luckily no more retirements as of yet though. He's still got an over 20 car strong field at the moment, and the gap down to 2.2 between Morand and Huis, just, well, quite a few seconds away from them. Frederick Nielsen is 11 seconds back, then Rasmus Tarley in sort of no man's land at the moment. As long as he can just drive the car home, he will get a very well deserved 4th place for GT Omega.
Absolutely, yeah. I just noticed at the front as well, the gap is again decreased. It's come down to just 2.1 seconds, a 3/10 gain for Morgan Morand there. So yeah, just as they're going to be approaching the last round of pit stops in about 3 to 4 laps. I would have thought it's around about 40 to 44 roughly we'll see the next round of pit stops, and we're on lap 38 now, so it's got to be close. Yeah, again, that's another 10th of a second that Morgan Morand just took out through the first sector, so the gap is decreasing.
So
I think Morgan Morand has turned up the wick and absolutely gone for it.
Yeah, obviously because he pitted later, those tyres will be a bit more fresher than Bono Huis, so maybe we'll get a bit of an advantage from there. So is Huis going to be considering another pit stop sooner or later? Have to find out. Right now, Morand just needs to keep that pedal on the metal and keep trying to take tenths out of him. It's eating away at that lead, and Bono Huis is slowly going to see that red and white centre tribute closing towards him.
He is, and the gap's just stabilised at 2.1 as they've gone through the final sector at the moment. Nielsen 9.6 behind now, so hasn't quite held the pace, but he's had a substantial enough pace for 3rd place. Same principle could be applied for Rasmus Tarley actually, who's having a fantastic race. 18 seconds the advantage he has over Jim Parasis.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously nearing towards the second round of pit stops now as Jimmy Deal gets out of the way. Very sensibly, as Wayne Arun comes up towards him. Now, up the inside of the other Deal may have wanted to back off a bit easier there as Lapchin approaches. The last thing already, I mean, what I've noticed as well is compared to previous races and previous seasons, the attrition rate's been a lot lower than expected here. I mean, normally see quite a few incidents and wings flying and cars in barriers, but we haven't seen a lot of that today. It's been very professional out there. There has been some risky overtaken, but it's all been extremely professional.
There's certainly been some wild overtaking manoeuvres, but nothing too substantial just to write home about at the moment. So I'm sure a few people will feel a little aggrieved with incidents throughout the race, and then Mika Pumalainen may have a bit of a job on his hands over the next few days. Nevertheless, there's still a good chunk of this race to go on lap 39 of 56 as Bono Huis has his advantage back up to 2.3 seconds. So the lap 40 has started. This is the sort of window we may see the cars coming in between 40 and 44 for the final round of pit stops of those people that have opted for a 3-stop strategy, which has pretty much been predominantly most of the field. A few guys have gone slightly later on their stints, which has allowed probably fresher tyres at certain points, and in Worldle towards the end of the race especially. But the majority of the field have decided to 3-stop. I believe it may have been Gobby. I believe also Dizzy may have opted for a 2-stop, which is slightly risky from what I've been told on these specific tyres.
So John Saxon out of nowhere, all over the back of Peter Burlack, as Burlack immediately dives to the outside in a sort of Wayno Room-esque manoeuvre to break the slipstream. Not going to save him this time. Saxon climbs towards him, goes up the inside, and has he got enough momentum and without to make contact? And I think he may just have it. Saxon, no. Good defending by Burlack. Saxon trying to get the undercut. Dives back into the slipstream as they climb the hill. This will be the next overtaking place for a manoeuvre. Let's see what he can do. Goes to the outside as Burlack takes the inside defensive line. Tries to push him off the track almost there. Saxon almost lost traction. A bit of opposite lob, but a very good save indeed there by the fast and speed drive. Peter Burlack still defending quite well here. For a World Trophy driver to not buckle under pressure from a World Championship veteran is quite impressive indeed.
Yeah, great done for Burlack to be able to fend off John-Eric Saxon. He's still hunting him down though, so it looks like that could be the next battle on to come anyway. Puma line 2.6 behind Baldy. Latchin has just started to close in Rainer Room, so we could see a battle between Kustadinov, Rainer Room and Yannick Latchin soon, as Parisis has a nice healthy advantage of 4.1 seconds. So it looks like 5th maybe starting to settle down, but the battle for 6th is going to be on soon, which, like I said, between Room, Latchin and Baldy. Sorry, Kostadinov, Room and Latchin. Baldy's further back of 3.3 seconds.
Yep, so we go then. Saxon can't quite get close enough to Peter Burlack as of yet to enter the final corner. Is he going to get a slipstream going? Not quite. They are coming out to some lap traffic, but I think Dion should quite easily get out of the way. And Burlack really is trying to take his own Wayno Room sort of manoeuvre of dodging the slipstream for as late as he can. So he's staying in the same pace, that just gives Saxon more time. If you break that slipstream, even for a tiny fraction of a second, it still could potentially save you a position.
Absolutely, and we could be about to start to see maybe a few drivers diving to pit lane, especially Frederick Nielsen. He's usually the first one to pit, as Rasmus Talley and Jim Parisis are further on, back around about 18 seconds. Sorry, Rasmus Talley's only 7.4 behind Nielsen. He's closed quite a lot actually on Frederick Nielsen just recently, as Parisis is 18 seconds behind Talley. Bonnehuis is in pit lane. Sorry, I missed that one. Bonnehuis, the race leader, is in pit lane now. So he's pitted, and so is Frederick Nielsen. So Nielsen and Huis this time have pitted. Now that is one thing we didn't consider before, is that Bonnehuis could have actually short-filled to get out of pit lane first. Now I didn't think about that at the time because of course there's the refueling, but Bonnehuis could have short-filled to jump out of pit lane first, allowing him the advantage to be over Morgan Moran, but Morgan Moran went one lap longer last time and still couldn't get out in front of Bonnehuis. Moran's going to have a shorter pit stop again, depending on how long he goes. But that could have been the advantage for Bonnehuis, could have been a shorter fuel stop.
Moran needs to try and get a decent pit stop as well though, if you remember, because Morgan Moran lost a huge amount of time. You know, just averaging over a second between the two pit stops, and in turn that's cost him the lead of the race. And hopefully we don't see that again. Moran needs a good, clean, smooth stop to get out, and maybe even to make it just a couple tenths of a second to try and get himself towards the rear wing of Bonnehuis. But Bonnehuis coming up towards what I believe to be Rasmus Talley.
It is, yeah, 1.6 behind him. Now I want to see what Morgan Moran's going to do. Will he go for a second lap out on track? He does, so he has. The fuel strategy is actually different between these two. Now this is going to be quite interesting because Huis can't catch Talley too quickly, otherwise he's going to get held up. But will Talley pit this lap? Talley's coming down the back straight. Will he dive off the pit lane straight away? Yes, he is. so that's alright. Huis is safe there, so Huis can just bed these tyres in and just get the hammer down to start to put the fast laps in as Tally pits, as Moran has obviously got a 2-lap advantage in terms of fuel, which would balance it off from what we saw at the start of the race. Question is, has the pace been good enough for Moran to build any sort of gap to Huis to come out in front of him? I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Going to be close though, and it looks like he's going to come in on this lap.
Yeah, Moran doing a great job, and then like at the moment you can see all of a sudden this driving style has become a lot more aggressive. He seems to be throwing the car around. I'm not sure if he's just made us notice this, but he seems to be a lot more aggressive when he enters the corners. He's downshifting a lot quicker as well.
Yeah, he's messed up the hairpin a little bit though there. He didn't get quite the entrance what he wanted, but it still was a good exit, and he will be pitting this lap. So will the advantage swing back towards the ATR management team? Coming down the back straight, the advantage for Morgan Moran at the moment is 19.8 seconds. Will that be enough for him to get in and out and also take a much lower amount of fuel? So into pit lane he comes, holds it nicely, just a little bit on the exit, got on the grass, but into pit lane he comes. So late there on the pit limiter. So into the box he comes. Where's Bono Huis coming down the back straight now? He's coming into the final corner. Is Bono Huis. Moran's still not moving. Huis is on the straight. Moran's away now. No, that's an even bigger advantage, isn't it? Yeah. So Huis is already through. He's going into turn 1. Moran just flicked off the pit lane speed limiter now. And that advantage for Bono Huis is what? 2.56? 2.6 seconds. Stays exactly the same. Sorry, actual fact, Bono Huis pulled up 3/10 there, because on the entry of his lap it was 2.3. So
Moran actually lost 0.6 seconds in the pit stop again, so Moran is losing valuable time in the pit stop windows. And I'm not too sure what's going on with the ATR pit stops, if there's a problem, but I'm not sure what's happened. Apparently it was a big pit stop entry and it was looking really well, but they've still lost time.
Yeah, I thought they may have played the fuel slightly differently to what Precision Motorsports have done, but it appears not, and there's been absolutely no advantage gained there at all for ATR management, so I'm sure there'll be a bit of a debrief at the end to find out what's going on with the pit stops, because I'm sure that's going to leave Martin Christensen and his team head-scratching.
Yeah, that's what will be interesting is to see Yannick Lapchin's pit stop, and see if that differs at all. Yannick Lapchin gets very, try and get out of the way of traffic. If his pit stop is only different to Morgan Moran's, and if he still suffers the same problems, it could be a team problem, or maybe just the sole driver problem.
Yep, so as we start lap 44, it's Bono Huis that's leading from Morgan Moran in second, Frederick Nilsson's third, Rasmus Tally's fourth, Jim Paresis is fifth. Yannick Lapchin has got past Kostadinov, he's dropped back a couple of positions actually. So Paresis has gone through in fifth, Yannick Lapchin is sixth, Kostadinov seventh, Boldy eighth, Pumalayan ninth, Rainer Roon 10th, he's also dropped back. Johnny Saxon's 11th, Burlak is 12th, not far behind Saxon. Patrick de Witt is 13th, Varga 14th, Disley 15th, Masculi 16th, and then Dion Brothers 17th, 18th, and Chester Panelis is 19th as Greco has retired.
Unfortunate retirement for David Greco, and Matt Corp's weekend just continues to go on a downhill slope, and hopefully we'll see them bounce back in 2 weeks' time. He heads to round 3 of the championship. Don't forget you can watch that live on here at SimRacing.tv.
Sorry to cut across you there, but Bono Huis just got massively held up there. I'm not too sure who it was by. It was definitely back Marcus, one of the AT Racing cars, I think it was. He got massively held up in turn 9, the hairpin. The gap to Moran's down to 1.7 seconds. That was so close there for Bono Huis. Yeah, the gap's 1.7 seconds, and he got really held up there.
Maybe there'll be an investigation after the race.
That would have been Masculi that he would have got held up behind. So that's not ideal. Or was it Chatsapanthus actually? It could have been Chatsapanthus in fact, sorry. So it could have been him instead of... And he got held up significantly for Bono Huis. The gap's 1.8 now.
shaping up then to be a thrilling end to what's been a great race so far. Just 9 laps to go, I believe, or 10 laps, and it's all looking not too good for Bono Quiz now. And you can see Morgan Rand in the background, and I'm sure he'll have a very cheeky smile on his face as you can see that position slowly coming in towards him. The question is it going to be enough? Unfortunately, he has lost time during the pit stops, as we said earlier, but right now it's not stopping him. You can see the position's getting closer. So I think you could see a battle here then, a battle to maybe last the end of the race. We know what these two are like. Once they get going, I don't think even anyone could interfere between them because they will just keep going. We've seen lap cars get in the way before, and it just hasn't phased them after. They just keep doing what they're doing, oblivious to everything else on track, and it makes them some of the greatest battles in sim racing.
It's a little bit nasty though that for Bono Quiz, for and it's down to 1.3 now, so this could get interesting towards the end, and I'm sure there'll be a bit of an inquiry at the end because he went from 2.6 to 1.3. Bono Quiz is under the cosh now. He's got to just try and compose himself because it's like I said, 1.3 seconds. Morgan Moran, oh wow, what a lap that was! 132.08. That's the fastest lap there, so Moran is on it. He is absolutely on it, and he's just trying to close on Bono Quiz now.
And I think that the that position back wing is surely going to motivate him even more. I mean, let's look how close he's getting. You can see the whole car now on Moran will be pushing like crazy. You can see how close he's getting as they climb there in towards turn 3. And that's going to be a very satisfying sight indeed. It hasn't been an easy race for Morgan Moran. He's had some troubles, of course, in the pit stops, and he's been kind of lost the lead because of it. Question is, can he gain it back when it really matters?
That gap has increased, it's down to 1.1. So I think Moran may have flipped the switch and turned the revs up because he's flying at the moment. Let's just have a look at what sort of pace this particular lap is. Yeah, he's going very, very well at the moment.
Absolutely, so keep an eye on that battle further down the field. It's all sort of fizzled out. Cosmino pulling on, well, trying to close in on Yannick Lapchard. He's currently in P6 and he's...
Quist got to the back marker, Chatsapanthelis, who's got to go careful again. I'm really not sure which one it was at the time. Unfortunately, I missed it. It was Chatsapanthelis has, well, flown on at the final corner, so... Yeah, okay, he got out of the way nice and easily.
Oh, he's in the barrier. He's stopped in the gravel track. Can he get it going again?
That was spectacular, the way he went off.
I think, well, that was maybe some evasive driving out to make sure he doesn't get involved, but he's going to try and get it back to the pit lane. It's a good place to crash if any, because he can just drive into the pit lane, but either way, the team also won't be too happy with that one. For Chatsapanthelis, he's going to try and use as little time as possible. Oh, he's always hit the wall there, and luckily doesn't stall it in the pit lane, so it's all going reasonably okay at the moment, but either way, at least it hasn't interfered with the Quiz and Moran battle.
Yep, gap still between them is 1.1 seconds. Just filtering through the field to see if there's any other gaps or anything significant. No, I think Kostanov's the closest one to Lapchin for 6th position at the moment. That appears to be the only one, especially if Lapchin's going to lock up like that into the final corner. Down to 9/10 now because of that. So Kostanov's closing in, but it could... Reino Ruma gets Mika Pumalines on as well. That's just half a second between those two. Back at the front, no, it's underneath a second. If we had DRS, we'd be able to use it. So Morgan Moran is closing in on Bono Quiz. Lap after lap, Moran is setting some very, very good times. The question is now, can he get close enough to make a move on Quiz?
And with time running out as well, then maybe desperation setting in. Hopefully, we don't see another risky manoeuvre like Moran did earlier on. But that's what it come down to. If you're in that situation with a couple laps to go and you've got an opportunity to take the race lead, you have to go for it.
Yeah, and we just started lap. We're on lap 49 now, so it's getting a little bit frantic towards the front as there's not many laps to go. 8/10 of difference. Disley pulls right out the way. That's the way you do it. As Akois is now starting to feel the pressure from Morgan Moran.
And Morgan Moran is actually setting the fastest lap of the race, so Moran really is on a charge at the moment.
Yeah, that's the one he set a few laps ago, the 132.0808, so it's very, very good lap time. That's comparable to 132.890 for Boniface, which was set, I think, at the end of in the first stint, in fact. A very contained and controlled race with Frederick Nielsen as well. He's in third, Rasmus Tali's fourth, Paris' fifth, Latchin is sixth, with Kostadinov still hunting him down. In seventh place, Boldy eighth, Pumalainen ninth, with Renault Room all over the back of him. So that's going to be a battle there between 8th, 9th and 10th. That's Netrex versus Precision versus RS Evo.
This is going to be a nice battle to watch, then.
And that will be all over 8th place.
So things really heating up. We say it's not over till the checker flag falls, and we keep saying it for good reason, because we never fail to disappoint.
Half a second between Moran and Huis now.
This is going to get very tense very quickly. Moran down the back straight, looking for every chance to slipstream he can. Brakes very late, and look how late that was braking to try and get a bit of an advantage. And look how close he is now. This will be a very happy man in terms of Morgan Moran. The question is, which one of these two is going to come out on top? Here in Sepang, it's been a race-long sort of distant battle between them, back and forth. Unfortunately, things haven't gone Moran's way. Are the winds of change blowing in Kuala Lumpur?
At the moment it is, because he's got such an advantage. Boniface is really starting to feel the pressure. Moran is absolutely flying. And he's so consistent with his race pace now. As we're on lap 50, there's only going to be 6 to go, so it's getting, well, 5 after this in fact, so it's getting pretty frantic. 3 tenths over the gap. He holds this to the line, he will have an advantage going down into turn 1.
And I think any victory for these guys now will be well deserved. Boniface's defending skills will be put to test very, very shortly, because Moran is coming onto the back of him very, very quickly indeed. And just look at how much time he's gaining as they go on towards the back straight. This is where he's going to get the most momentum, and needs to try and get a good slipstream. No oversteer there, a bit of a twitch, but that's not going to stop him too much. As you say, he's lacking that 7th gear, and that's really going to become costly right about now.
The 7th gear was when he was trying to make the manoeuvre, so he should be okay in clear air. It's when he's in the dirtier that he was struggling, and yeah, that was a bit of a moment for Moran on the exit. Got right out on the curb, got a bit wheel spin, dropped behind 6 tenths. So it's not going to be on this lap he's going to do anything as we start lap 51. Gap for 8th place between Boldy and Pumalainen. Well, that is 9 tenths, and Renault Room is 8 tenths behind Pumalainen, so it's just stabilised at the moment. No battling going on there at the moment.
So things really starting to get very tense very quickly now. As you said, time running out, just a matter of laps to go. It's been quite a frantic race to say the least. I think it's far from over yet, as Moran is all over the back of the rear against Boniface as long as he doesn't make little mistakes like he does before, where he loses the back end, and that's a major moment. Then he should be okay, but right now he needs to just try and keep focused and get the job done. He's running out of time, as you said, on towards the penultimate corner, and he's got a nice little bit of momentum there. And he goes onto the grass a little bit, and Huis immediately pulls away. Everyone seems to be adapting to this tactic now, trying to get away from the slipstream as soon as they can. But nonetheless, Moran still manages to find some time, and look how close he gets now to that number 1 car. They've got Huis down. The original straight they came, and then another moment there on the final corner. So Moran in the dirty air really isn't too good through the corners, but luckily still trying to find a slipstream into turn 1 they go once again, and another lap where he hasn't been able to get the job done. Is this going to be how it ends up? There's only one way to find out at the moment, but Moran is looking in a pretty good position.
Just holding station, building towards what he wants to make as an overtake, but it's getting closer and closer. Lap 52, so it's getting closer between them, and Moran is just trying to find what the best line is to take through some of these corners, so he can eye up how to pass Boniface, or at least try and make an overtake as they come into the last few laps.
Pumalainen on the back of Giorgio Boldy for P8. Let's watch this as they come down the straight. Pumalainen's got a great chance to slipstream. Is he going to go for a look on the final corner? Boldy moves to the outside. Pumalainen dives at the inside. That's a great move. He doesn't outbrake himself. and a bit of contact there, but not going to be enough. And Boldy needs to get in the city with Pumaline, and he's done so. He's got enough room to make a move. Where's he going to go? He wants the outside, switches to the inside line. It's going to be a drag race into turn 1. Boldy, I think, should have the job done, and he does so. He's outbroke himself a little bit and slipped through. Goes Mikko Pumaline.
Yeah, good job there for Mikko. Basically allowed Boldy to make the mistake, and he was able to capitalise on the exit and made it stick. But Boldy's coming back at him up towards turn 4. But Pumaline's going to hold on, so I think now that's Pumaline with that P8 now.
And Morgan Moran down the home straight. Another lap gone. Another chance, but Moran has not been able to get past Bono Queese. Queese, to be fair, hasn't buckled under pressure. Moran dips out to get some clean air, and again takes a very deep line into turn 1 to close on the back of the rear wing. Is he going to get the slipstream as they climb the hill towards turn 3? There's only one with the button. He keeps opposite looking. That ATR seems to be struggling in the dirty air.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bit of oversteer coming on the exit as he tries to get on the power, so those rear tyres are starting to hurt him. The amount he pushed them to catch the back of the again. Yeah, turn 4, he's oversteered on the exit. So these tyres are really starting to move away now from Morgan Moran, and this could be just the release Bono Queese needs.
By the way, then Moran still needs the decisive factor if he can just get close enough to Queese through the double apex and not too much oversteer then. He dips out again to try and get some clean air into the engine. It's not going to be enough. He needs to try and maintain this level of pressure, if not increase it, and get the move done. He's run out of time. 2 laps to go when they cross the line, and it's all going to come down to maybe a daring manoeuvre.
Yeah, absolutely. This is getting closer and closer between them as we were on lap 53, so it'll be 3, and it will be so close between these guys. They've become before the end of the race. After second at the moment, after those couple of moments for Morgan Moran, but nevertheless, it's going to be he'll close under braking again. It's the final corner. Roughly when he comes off the final corner, he needs 3/10. It's a 3/10 difference. Again, huge oversteer moment for Moran. He cannot get back on the power. He's really starting to hurt those rear tyres now. Is this Bono Queese's get out of jail free card? Because it looks at one stage that Moran was just going to close and pass Bono Queese, but he cannot get on the power at all at the moment, Morgan Moran. Up towards turn 4. Yeah. See what traction lights for Moran. Again, twitch.
I think he'd take the opportunity as well. I mean, Frederick Nilsson, again, we say it's unsung hero, P3 in Twiston. He has been constantly there, unspoken about, kind of avoided all sort of trouble, and he's got himself into a podium position.
Yeah, once again, absolutely fantastic for the Twister there again, and they've got to be very, very proud of the job that their second driver has done in Peter Burlack, a World Trophy driver, and is currently driving in 12th place and has the advantage even over one of the regulars of Patrick de Witt, although he is closing on him.
All eyes are on this battle though, 1.5 laps pretty much until this battle is over and a race winner is declared. The question is, whose name will be engraved on that trophy? Will it be current world champions Bono Queese, or will it be the underdog last week's race winner Morgan Moran?
It's going to be close between them.
Final lap, here they come then. One more opportunity, it's the last chance saloon. As they say, the Frenchman Morgan Moran must give it all here. This has to be the lap of a lifetime if he's to take the lead on the final lap.
There's 2 to go.
Oh, sorry, okay.
He's got this one, he's got the lap after as well. So he's still eyeing him up as he goes into turn 1, but he hasn't got it done at the moment. He needs that 3/10 between him and Bono out of the final corner to have any sort of manoeuvre going down into turn 1, really. That's what the gap has been every time someone's made a manoeuvre, is about 0.3 of a second. He has that at the moment, but he has to hold that all the way up until the final corner, or even on to turn 14, where he could get a run down the back straight. Sweeping through this middle sector, both of them drop 3 gears, down to 4th. And a nice straight exit there for Bono Queese. Right up on the curb from Morgan Moran. Dips out, shows the nose. But nothing at the moment down into turn 9. It looks like Moran has been able to adapt to the car a little bit more and is getting on the power much more efficiently now.
This is it. I think tension may be setting in, as you say, Ondrej Kungman and Martin Christensen will both be there on the edge of their seats cheering their drivers on. One of these men is about to come home with a victory. Is Morgan going to make it 2 from 2, or is Bono going to resume normal business? Right now Moran looks to try and get as close as he can, and he's doing it as well. He goes on the inside, always thinks better of it, and he's going to get desperate now. He's going to lose momentum though as they come onto the back straight. Reese immediately ducks out of the slipstream. Moran trying to follow in his first laps as they enter turn 1. Moran is not going to be close enough, surely. As you heard the... What a moment's contact, surely no! I mean, Paquise has got it back. But I think Moran did the honourable thing there. That would have been a disastrous way to take a victory.
Didn't do anything there. Moran just went way too deep in the corner, and Bono Queese was lucky enough to be able to cut back.
Moran knows now, got a chance, goes up the outside. Queese defends the inside line. Moran round the outside, the fun up, and again somehow, oh, and a big lot there. And somehow Moran saves it, but this could potentially throw away all chances of winning the race. And I was so close for Morgan Moran. He's really been giving it everything this past couple of laps. What is left in the tank of that ATR?
Well, Morgan Moran cannot question his pace, but his racecraft is something slightly less to be desired for at the moment. That's twice now he's done that to Bono Queese, and I'm sure there's going to be a few inquiries afterwards, because that was not a great move from Morgan Moran there. He tried to late lunge, but he smacked into the side of Bono Queese. So I don't think he can now, unless Bono Queese has a moment out of turn 14. Then I think Queese is going to will be able to hold off the pressure. Again, very late going into 14.
I think he doesn't have enough and he's wiggling. I think Bono Queese has been signed, sealed, delivered unless Moran goes for another lunge. Moran desperately trying to warm up the tyres. But even though an ill Moran, who was sick earlier on in the week, has come back to fight his second race. But your driver of the day, the man who has won the race and got him back into usual business, Bono Queese is your race winner for the second race of 2012, and is now neck and neck with this man, Morgan Moran, in the driver's standings. But Bono Queese wins his first race of the 2012 season, and hats off to him.
Absolutely fantastic race there from Bono Queese. Moran led the early stages, Precision Motorsports worked out, got a pit stop advantage as they exited the first round of stops, and Queese goes on and takes victory. Nielsen has just crossed the line for third place. Rasmus Tally comes across in fourth place. So he got the gap down to 4.3 seconds. That's very impressive for Rasmus Tally and GT Omega.
Jim Paresis was good in qualifying, being consistent today, made some good overtaking manoeuvres, defended when he had to, and overall it's rewarded him a top 5 finish. Go Speed get their first top 5 of the season. Jim Paresis will cross the line, and he will be an extremely happy man right now.
Paresis crossed the line, and he does indeed. He's 5th. That's a great run. And Yannick Latchin is going to come across in 6th place for ATR management. Great job, Yannick Latchin. 7th place, Dejan Kostadinov, again, very well deserved. You can see him weaving the tyres, Mika Poom-Line, and comes across in 8th. Giorgio Boldi, great result for him in the Netrex in 9th. That's a fantastic job. As for Reino Room getting the RC Evo's first points of the season. John Eric Saxon 11th, Peter Burlack 12th place. He will be extremely happy with that. Absolutely, and Varga's trying to make a move on De Witt into the final corner, but De Witt will hold on. He's got 13th place nailed, and Varga will come out in 14th place. And then Masculi has already finished.
That's to be said, that was a fantastic end. So it was a brilliant race. We've seen it all. We've seen thrills, spills, plenty of action, so many overtaking manoeuvres and everything as well. But it really has been an awesome race. So really goodbye now, and until next time for round 3 of the Formula Sim Racing World Championship live on simrace.tv from me, Liam Jenkins, and Nick Rowland. Very goodbye, and hope you enjoyed the race.